Let's get nasty on a Wednesday. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Jamie Rivers and Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. 202, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Blues, well, they didn't get it done last night, Jamie. It's a 4-1 loss.
Or 5.
Or 5. I lost count at the... Well, 4-1, and then they said, okay, well, this one is over, despite there being 18 minutes left in the third period. No big deal. First period looked pretty good, Jamie. And if they capitalized on the power play opportunity that they had when it was tied 1-1, maybe it goes in a different direction. But unfortunately, the power play continues to be a massive issue for the Blues.
Yeah, so I would actually push back a little bit. I think the first 2 periods were fine. First period was better than the second. Second period was fine. You really didn't dig a hole too big for yourself. A lot of attention being put onto the 4-minute power play that Brandon Saad drew with the high stick to the face. I don't disagree. I mean, that's a moment where you'd obviously like to score a goal. You have several opportunities at that point. 4 minutes is a long time. You don't get it done. You watch. For me, it was the beginning of the third period. You have fresh ice. You have like a minute 48 of power play time. You're down by a goal at that point, but you're in the game. Mm-hmm. And you can't produce. Like, the other power plays at least produce some opportunities, some shots on net, some good looks, a couple of posts.
Hit the post on the one.
Yeah. And the one power play that you really needed didn't produce really anything. And then as the hockey gods work, and we know this, right after that penalty expires, shortly thereafter, the Panthers get the puck off a tough turnover, and Matthew Tkachuk scores and makes it 3-1. That's essentially the nail in the coffin at that point.
Mm-hmm. Do you think they're falling back into some of their old ways, or
no?
Is that not an issue anymore?
I don't think that's an issue.
They just got beat last night. Didn't have the puck for long stretches in the first period. Didn't capitalize on the power play. I mean, really, in fairness, the Blues' power play has been bad all season long.
Yeah,
so it's not like they can fall back into a bad habit that they've already had.
So that's kind of where I'm at. Is as far as their habits overall, I don't think the habits are poor. You were still in that game right into the third period until you let it slip away. And I hate to point the finger at Jacob Vrana. He was only one guy that made a mistake last night. But the mistake, here's what you have to understand, is it's not that he gave the puck where he turned it over. It was the timing of the turnover and who was on the ice for the opposition. And also take into account, where you were a week ago. A week ago, he was in Springfield in the American Hockey League. He gets recalled because he played very well in Springfield. Scored 8 points in 7 games. 4 goals, 4 assists in 7 games.
Right.
Has a pretty good go in Carolina, so much so that even Coach Drew Bannister says, hey, I liked his game. I like what he brought to the table tonight. We're going to elevate him in the lineup. He's not going to be a 4th liner. He's going to be a 3rd liner because we liked what we saw. Down by a goal, you have a couple of tired bodies still on the ice from the carryover of the power play, and you try to split between 2 defenders. It's just not the play. Mm-hmm. The puck got turned over there, and you have the most dangerous guys on the ice out there against you. You have Verhaeghe, and you have Tkachuk, and you had Bennett too. But those 2 in particular, Verhaeghe scored, 40 goals last year, and Matthew Tkachuk, I think he's got 18 points his last 7 games. You don't turn the puck over there. Mm-hmm. You put it in deep. You manage it. Puck management. You hear me talk about it all the time on here. Probably sick of it. Get the puck behind the defenseman. Go get it. Vrana even had an opportunity to chip the puck to the middle of the ice and just go for it and force their player to take a penalty because the defenseman played it terrible. That's showing these guys. See, the defenseman played it terrible. Turned towards the wall. His toes were pointed towards the wall when Vrana could have just jumped to the middle of the ice with a little soft chip, but he tried to toe drag it through there. Mm. So I'm not hyper-focusing on Jacob Vrana because there was more to it than just one play. But to your original question of, is this team sliding back? No, I don't believe they are. What's really sliding all over the place is this power play. You just can't seem to generate anything, and it's cost you a lot of opportunities this year.
Carey, what do you think?
I agree with Jamie. I thought the first 2 periods were pretty good. That Vrana play, I think I was more bothered by the fact that it seemed like all of the focus was on that. And I showed you the video. I thought Kevin Hayes didn't. Jamie said, this is fast. I said, there's no way he's skating as fast. I said, this is not. I've never skated before. I'm pretty sure I could have got back there a little bit faster. Now, he may have been gassed because he was on the power play. But when you have a turnover, everybody has to get on their horses to get back and make sure you're preventing passes from being made and easy access to other teammates. So I thought that was part of it as well. And then we talked about Hofer probably, just sliding over a little bit too much to cut off one side, and then the shot goes to his blocker side and he's unable to block it. So that's part of it. The power play is putrid. Like it's and again, I've never played hockey a day in my life, right? But I do watch other teams have greater success on their power play, and part of me wonders, well, why the hell don't we just do that? Like, why? Maybe I'm oversimplifying it. Why in the hell can't we do that? Mm-hmm. Why can't we keep the puck in the offensive zone for a period of time and tire out the defenders on the opposing team? And now they aren't able to move as quickly side to side and then get good shots on goal and then have a bunch of people in front of the net to try to tip it in, because that third goal we were talking about by Tkachuk, there's a lot of Florida Panthers in front of the net. Like, why is it that we don't have that same type of offensive mindset? Now, that wasn't a power play, but just why don't we have that same type of offensive mindset when we have the puck in the O-zone and trying to score? That's the objective of a power play, is to put the puck in the net when you got an extra man advantage, I assume. But the Blues seem to be proving me otherwise.
Yeah, it hasn't been pretty all season long, and so much so that Drew Bannister, he changed all of the lineups today. So the power plays that you had going for you up to this point has kind of been a little bit of like shuffling the deck with the same cards, just trying to figure it out. And today there were some big changes. And the biggest changes out of the whole thing were on the one power play unit. I don't even know which one would be power play 1 or power play 2. But on the first power play, Sundqvist, Schenn, and Hayes are out there, along with Krug and Perunovic. So, to me, it's a decision by the coach to say, well, Perunovic really doesn't want to shoot the puck. Doesn't. So let's put him out there with some guys who will shoot the puck. And we put him out there, it's a little safety net to put another defenseman out there with Krug, so that those guys can kind of move the puck around. And maybe we find something pretty good here between these two offensive-minded defensemen. The other power play unit is Neighbors, Kyrou, Thomas Buchnevich, and Colton Parayko on the point. Now, I know that people are driving around, yeah, it's about time we unleash that one-timer. Settle down. Settle down. Colton Parayko's had a great season, scored, 7 goals so far this year, and one of them, I think, was by a slap shot. Right now, Colton Parayko is finding a way to create shot lanes, and he's getting good, hard wrist shots to the net that can create offense. That's more what I would look for than anything, because the one-timer for Colton Parayko, it's not a strong suit, or it hasn't been anyways. But I like the fact that we're changing it up. You have to change it up. You have to fix something that is so broken, and by doing so, you have to put new pieces in place.
They've had zero success with it. Zero. So there's one thing to kind of trust the process. Well, there's been no process.
But Anthony, hang on. Here's what we do, right? Overall, we look at the power play and say, well, it's been putrid all season long. Correct. 100%. Mm. Now, their power play percentage under Craig Berube, while he was here, it's not Craig Berube's fault, but it was his power play. Let's just hang it on the coach if we're going to hang it on the coach. It was just around 9%. Since Drew Bannister's taken over, it's about 19%. So that's a big difference. So the power play is putrid, but it hasn't been putrid since the last 11 games. It's been at 19%, which is something right now. Boy, you'd take that over the course of a season, wouldn't you?
And where does it need to be?
Well, you would like it to be somewhere between 20 and 23%. You get up into 24, 25, you're talking like elite.
Okay. 1 goal every 4 attempts.
That'd be nice, yeah.
Or every 5 attempts.
So if we just isolate some of the other teams here, I'm trying to pull this up on the fly because I didn't have it loaded up here. But some of the other teams are, the best teams, some float in around that 24, 25% mark. Mm-hmm. So if you're 19 to 21% right now, you would take it. Do you know how many more goals that means for your team?
But isn't that what's
It's also
frustrating?
fewer games, though, too. We're going to count that.
I totally agree. I'm giving you a skewed stat. I'm
gotcha.
cherry-picking a stat. But, but I'm not really.
It has improved. I got you.
I'm not really cherry-picking it. It's just a fact that under Drew Bannister, it has improved.
I got you.
Or Brad Richards and whoever else they added.
Isn't that the frustrating
Bad
part,
mood
though?
today.
You go over.
Yeah, a little bit. That was your problem.
You go over 4 in a game where you have an opportunity to keep it close. I think that's the frustrating part is when you don't score on the power play and you have multiple opportunities and you're in a game that's 2-1 or maybe it's 3-1 and you can't put the puck in the net. I think that would be the one reason why I say even if this team does find a way to make it into the wild card, why it would be hard for me to believe that they would be able to continue to advance, because if they're not scoring on the power play when you have an advantage, you probably aren't going to have much success, in the regular season, let alone in the playoffs.
So here's the thing. They won't make the playoffs with this current power play.
Correct.
So you don't have to worry about being in a wild card and having a bad power play. You won't make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But if your power play improves, now you have a chance, which means they go hand in hand.
Correct.
So here, to put everything in perspective, the New York Rangers, who, by the way, we play them next, better stay out of the box, they operate at 30% on their power play. I mean, that is a substantial power play. Now, if the Blues were just to operate at 19-ish percent, puts them somewhere around the top 20 teams, top 21 teams. It's not bad. They're 31st right now in the NHL. In fact, well, they're tied. They're
I
lied. They're last. Yeah. They dropped after last night, 10.6%. So if you could improve your power play by 9%, you'd win more games. And that's not even shooting for the moon, Anthony. That's to get into the 21st in the league mark, let alone top 5 where you were for 2 years in a row.
Mm-hmm. I think overall last night, 2 things can be true. One, the Blues did not play good for a full 60 minutes, but you can also look at Florida's penalty kill. It's the 5th best in the league. They also have won 8 straight games. In the last 3 games, they've beaten Vegas 4-1. They beat Colorado 8-4. Those 2 teams, in my opinion, are some of the best teams in the NHL. I think everyone would agree with that. Mm-hmm. So when I look at last night's game, I'm not that surprised.
I mean,
are you not surprised by the outcome? Like the fact that they lost, okay, maybe. Because
I'm not surprised by the outcome. This team is
on a 7-game win streak.
This team has not lost since the last time the Blues played. This team is on a heater right now.
They've been going.
This team is a Stanley Cup contender. The Florida Panthers will be somewhere at the end of this thing in the last 4 teams in the NHL when it's all said and done, in my opinion. One other thing I want to address here, because, of course, it wouldn't be a post-game or a next-day show about the Blues after they lose if people didn't go, trying to just get after Jordan Kyrou. Mm-hmm. Everybody's like, well, what about Jordan Kyrou and all this stuff? Okay, that's great, guys. And you talk about his turnovers and all that. Yeah, Jordan Kyrou is going to turn the puck over. He still had 5 shots on net last night, hit a crossbar, and he had 9 attempts overall. Didn't score, I get it. But he wasn't the worst player on the ice. Did he turn the puck over a few times? Yes, but this is what happens with top-line creative guys. You have to accept some of the warts of what's going on when you have, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, you have to go with that. That's just what they do. That when you see beautiful plays that happen, you're like, how the hell did he do that? It's because you let them be creative.
Yeah.
And if you don't like Jordan Kyrou, that's fine. If you don't like the way he plays, then, I don't know, deal with it, because he's here. For the foreseeable future, he's here, and you better hope that he starts finding the back of the net. Because if he doesn't, then your team's in trouble of making the playoffs, and you can be mad about Jordan Kyrou for the entire offseason again. And guess what? He'll still be here come spring training camp.
Blues Rangers tomorrow night pregame at 6 o'clock here on 101 ESPN. The Cubs finally made a move. What do we think about the impact of them adding Imanaga? We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN.
Gentlemen, are you currently using ED meds? You probably are paying too much for those ED meds. We see them all the time, little blue pill, and now they got gummies and all these awesome things, right? Too much money. Don't do it. Get over to the medicine shop in St. Charles. They are your destination for cheap ED meds, and right now they have a generic called sildenafil for less than $2 a pill. Now, I have seen this advertised other places, but not for $2 a pill. Medicine Shop in St. Charles has you covered, and they also have a fantastic program that includes discreet shipping and delivery to your home or your workplace of any medicines that you use on a regular basis. So if you can't get to the pharmacy, that's all right. The Medicine Shop in St. Charles, they'll get to you, and they'll bring you your medicine, and you'll be able to take care of everything that you need to take care of without worrying about getting those medicines. Now, if you do need anything extra, please head into the pharmacy. The staff over there is awesome. They're going to answer all your questions, going to take incredible care of you, and they're going to do it with a smile on their face. So please get over to the Medicine Shop in St. Charles. If not, get there online. Visit them at stcharles.pharmacy. That's stcharles.pharmacy.
Cubs finally made a move. Finally got off their dead rear ends and
they get a bench
made a
coach now?
decision. Yeah, right. They paid a bunch of money to get a bench coach.
Council finally got his guy, huh?
Jamie, that was funny. Nice work. Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, Anthony Stalter, Bobby Boogie. Bob Nightingale of USA Today reporting that the Cubs have reached an agreement to sign Japanese left-hander Shota Imanaga to a deal, reportedly worth about $15 million per year. So what does this now mean for the Cubs? I think some Cardinals fans, especially ones that are ticked off right now that the team hasn't done much outside of check 3 boxes and then call it a day, they're going to say, "Well, now the Cubs are significantly better." What?
They checked their boxes,
what did I say? So they checked 3 boxes. What do you want from me?
They had a grocery list, Anthony.
They got the dang on groceries. Now you don't go out and spend extra money when you have a grocery list. You get exactly what's on that list, and then you go home. And then you cook your recipe, and then you make a fantastic meal.
Then you realize
you left something at the store.
You left something at the store because that's what you always do. You've got missing ingredients, which means you don't have a full meal now.
Wow.
You just got what you needed immediately, but you had no eye on the future.
there are
Future
substitutes.
meals now have been sabotaged because of what you did at the grocery
You can
store.
substitute some of those
You can't
ingredients.
substitute crap.
It's like making tacos, right? And you think you have one ingredient, and then you have to go back to the store and get a different one, much like BT did a few weeks ago.
Yes, he did. Yeah. Yeah, he went for, what did he go for, parsley or something like that?
I think he needed
or basil?
cilantro.
He needed, and then came home
Cilantro,
with one
and
of those other
then
ones.
went home with parsley.
Either way.
It's all the same.
It happens.
It's really not.
Sure.
It's really not. No. All right. So the Cubs, let's keep this in perspective. The Cubs lost Marcus Stroman. So they're replacing Stroman essentially with Imanaga. Did they get better? Yeah. If Imanaga comes over and he does what he did in the Japanese league, yes. Yes, it's an upgrade. They also, thus far, still need an impact bat. Now, maybe they bring back Cody Bellinger, but Cody Bellinger was a significant part of their offense last year. So we can't sit here and say, well, the Cardinals aren't doing anything, and the Cubs, look at them, they're making moves. They made a move.
Right.
They still have plenty of holes as well. That's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, I think when you look at the division, the Cardinals got better than everyone else in the division. Am I mistaken? I think they had they signed more free agents. They did a better job for what was required. They did what they needed to do, Anthony.
Yes, Carey.
In the division,
Out of the five teams, four of which have done nothing or very little.
There you go.
Yes,
they are
sir.
at the forefront
Yes,
of
the
what
Cardinals have.
There you go. And if you put it in that perspective, do not look outside of the division. Don't look east. Don't look west. Don't worry about. Look right down the middle, right in the central, baby. That's our lane. You stay there. You do what you need to do, and you win the division. And that is the mindset.
Jamie, may I?
Oh, please do.
We're not falling for your crap.
Don't look left or right.
We're not falling for your crap.
Just look where you are.
We're not. Why?
Because that's all that matters to them.
Oh, you're doing the Cardinals thing. See, I thought
Yes.
you actually believed all this. You're doing the Cardinals
That's
thing.
all that matters to them. Why would I look left or right? What the hell do I got to do with those guys? I got to face these guys right here. The hell are they doing?
Eventually, you got to face those other
We'll worry
teams.
about that when we get to it. We're here. We're leading the division. We are division leaders in what we've
Are
done
we?
this offseason.
We weren't last year.
Offseason.
That was the
It's a
same
new
thought
season,
process last year,
2024.
though.
It didn't. Okay, Marcia, it didn't work out. It ain't gonna work this year. It didn't happen. It didn't work out.
Maybe it
Time
will.
out. Carey, what does Carey believe?
I believe that in order to be a really good team, you got to get good players. And I believe that they should have spent. I believe they still need one more ace on this pitching
They
staff.
need eyes.
Okay.
They need an ace.
Why? What is your disrespect for Sonny Gray?
Sonny Gray's a good pitcher.
I think they need.
He's our ace, Anthony.
He is our.
Let's not do
ace.
the our ace. He's their ace.
We
That's
love
up-
doing
He's
that.
Is he an
our
ace or not?
ace.
Is he a stud or not?
I think they
I
still
don't know.
need
I haven't seen him.
another starting pitcher, a number one. It can be 1A, 1B. I don't care, but I think that they need that. I think it needs to be a Dylan Cease, and I think that that's going to cost you something that they don't feel comfortable with losing. And so that's where I think, and I think one more arm in the bullpen would be wonderful. Other than that, I think they did everything that they were supposed to do. That's a missing ingredient. Now, to your point, when you have the grocery list, if you're making tacos and you don't have the ground beef, you definitely need it, right? Unless you're going to make some different type of tacos.
Like vegan tacos.
Vegan tacos.
And who wants that?
Yeah, some people
This
out
is
there
where we're
that
having
like
problems.
vegan tacos.
Okay, this is where we have the ultimate problem. Is your tacos, you're making them with ground beef.
Yeah.
For me and the rest of Cardinal Nation, we want Wagyu beef in our tacos, okay?
I
We're
think
spending that extra money for the great tacos.
I think they're actually using ground beef. And
No. I want the Wagyu beef, okay? It melts in your mouth.
can't-
That taco's
how
got
much
to be
that costs,
If
Jamie?
you're going to sell me a damn taco, you better make it good,
you know
Carey.
how much that's going to run you? No, this ground beef is sufficient.
I understand, but that's what I want.
So
So you're happy with the ground beef. That's fine.
I know. I would love
Anthony,
a
how
little
about
more
you?
additions.
You're more of a chicken guy, aren't you?
The chicken
You're
taco?
way out there.
Chicken tacos?
Yeah.
Listen, I love tacos. Chicken tacos, beef tacos, Wagyu tacos, breakfast tacos, any sort of tacos.
Yeah. Well said.
I'm all in. Yeah.
They still need one. But if you are focusing and again, I have no reason to believe anything other than they only focus on the NL Central, probably because they say it. That's the only thing that they are win the division. That seems to be the line. Win the division. And if you are lucky enough, the Arizona Diamondbacks weren't expected to make it as far as they did last year. No one predicted them to make a run through the playoffs in the manner in which they did. They have a lower salary than most of the teams they faced. Win the division, man. Just get in. Hell, be a wild card.
I was about to say, they didn't even win the division.
That's what I said. Be a wild card.
Not even close.
Figure it out, one way or the other.
Carey, I don't like your attitude. Not today.
Sorry.
Don't like your attitude regarding the Cardinals, but
you got to get used to it.
We'll have plenty of time to talk about it in the upcoming months, if not years. Does any quarterback have more at stake in the playoffs this year than Lamar? We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN.
Hey, it's Carey, and let me tell you about my great friends over at STL Design and Build. They are an award-winning company that has taken home the top workplace award for best home improvement company. They truly care about their customers and their clients and making sure that you are satisfied with the work that is done. I had my deck built. They redid my deck. It was outstanding. The work that they put in, my project coordinator, Becky, was awesome the entire time, making sure that I was up to date with all of the details, the ins and outs, and making sure I knew exactly what was going on, how the time frame would be, and what all I needed to do to make sure that this was done in the right process. So if you need a deck done, reach out to them, stldesignandbuild.com. But guess what? They don't just do decks. They also do interior. They do kitchens. They do bathrooms. They do siding. They do so many things. STL Design and Build is a great company because they are working for you and making sure that you get all of the things that you need. STL stands for St. Louis, obviously, because that's where they're from, but it also stands for Sky's the Limit. They want to make sure you have everything you need. STLdesignandbuild.com. Reach out to them today and tell them Carey sent you.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues lost last night to the Florida Panthers by a final score of 5-1. They'll be back in action tomorrow taking on the New York Rangers. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. And you can catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. We will talk with Jeremy Rutherford, our Blues insider from The Athletic at 3:15. So stay tuned for that. Once again, Blues Rangers tomorrow night. Pregame at 6. Puck drop at 7. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
The NFL playoffs wildcard weekend starts on Saturday afternoon. Everybody's fired up, including Super Bowl champion Carey Davis.
About time. This is the best time of the year.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Football, man.
I hate that the national championship's already over with and college football's already over with, but the good news is we got NFL playoffs. What's that?
Can't go forever.
Well, NASCAR goes forever. Soccer goes forever. Why can't we have golf?
Even those
goes forever.
have seasons.
Football has a limit. You got a number of hits your body can take.
Did you just compare football to golf?
He did. Kinda.
I didn't.
Well, he
Marsh
said
brought
it
up.
goes forever.
What did you
We were
The season
mentioning all
goes
the
forever.
sports that go
Soccer
forever.
goes forever.
WWE goes
Soccer
year-round.
takes
It
the
does.
soccer
Those
season.
guys take a beating.
They
They really do.
The soccer season ends, and then an hour later, they're like, "We're back."
Yeah.
NASCAR, same deal.
You
Take
gotta-
about a week off.
You have to run into people in football. It's painful. Trust me. Just take my word for
Hey,
it.
Carey,
Anthony doesn't care.
Clearly.
I don't care.
Obviously.
Hey, no worries. You know, the season, we got about
another one.
a month left of the
Guy here is
NFL.
dead. Sorry, it's Marsh. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, we have about a month left of the NFL and then, a few weeks, and then we'll get into college basketball postseason. That'll lead us into the NHL and NBA playoffs.
Oh, yeah, the
We're
NBA
fine.
playoffs. Can't
We're
wait for
just
those.
fine.
Yeah,
Those
it's
are
good.
riveting.
NBA playoffs are trust me. We're going to watch some basketball. You and I.
We? What are you, French?
We.
All right, heading into the playoffs, is there any quarterback with more at stake than Lamar Jackson?
Yes. Yes. We were talking about it earlier. We didn't talk about him personally, but we talked about the team. Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
What the hell is Dak Prescott? Like,
A human being?
he is.
He is a human.
And I hear he's a good human being,
Very
to
good.
be honest. So
Nice guy.
nothing against Dak Prescott, the human being. Now, he's on the football field. I'm going to talk about that.
Okay.
What has he ever done? His biggest knock has been he can't get his team to relevance.
Promised land.
And so if he goes out there in against the Packers and loses,
That'd be bad.
that's bad.
That'd be really bad.
Isn't he up for contract? Or am I crazy?
He's due, I think, in a year. I think he's
Like,
got
it's
one more
coming
year.
around, like they're talking about
They're talking about
this.
renewing him.
Yeah.
But it that would be really bad for him. Lamar has a lot to prove. The name that this is probably going to shock you, Anthony. One of them would be Josh Allen, I think, because they got the home playoff game. You saw what happened last year when they lost to the Bengals in a home playoff game, which was absolutely terrible. That was a terrible game for them to lose. But think about this, because this is a person that he has always been kind of looked down upon or not thought of in this light. And some people even thought that this team could use another quarterback to excel and project them into being a really successful
Are
team.
we talking about Desmond Ritter?
Joe Flacco.
Jared Goff. Oh. Jared Goff could be playing for his job.
Come on.
No, seriously, not in the terms of he would be fired next year or be released, but in terms of they may draft a quarterback and say, hey, we got our guy that's next. Because
You don't think he's done enough in Detroit to
I think
solidify?
he's done a fantastic job. Jared Goff is always forgotten about. We had this matchup of the L.A. Rams versus the Detroit Lions, and you and I, Matthew Stafford going back to Detroit. That's going to be awesome. Detroit versus L.A. Oh, yeah. And they were like, wait. Jared Goff actually played for LA as well.
Goff is facing his former team, too.
We completely
Nope.
forget. Like, no one even thinks about Jared Goff in that light. And some people, he's done a fantastic job. I thought last year he needed to have the season that he had to retain his job and make sure that they didn't go draft someone. He did a really good job. But he may be looked at as the guy to get you to the guy that gets you over the hump. And if you lose to the Los Angeles Rams, being the division winner at home, first playoff game there in 30-plus years, you may add more fuel to that fire.
I think, Goff is an interesting one. I do think it's Dak, though. Let's look at Lamar for a second here. Lamar got paid in the offseason, so he's got his contract.
Paid him too.
Yeah, but he got his contract. I wonder, though, because the Ravens played that well, too. It's not like, they're like, yeah, okay, see what your open market is. I'm sure they were telling people multiple first-round picks. So we could say, yeah, this team passed on him, that team passed on him. Nobody passed on him. He was under contract with the Ravens still. Right. So, anyways, that's a moot point. But when it comes to Lamar, he got paid. He got his contract. If he wins another MVP, that's 2 for him. Yeah, he doesn't have the Super Bowl. Yeah, he doesn't have the long run yet. The legacy aspect of Lamar Jackson still it hasn't been spoken for, right? Mm-hmm. But with Dak Prescott, Dak has been criticized for to Jamie's point, not being able to get it done at this level. He doesn't have MVPs. The contract that he's on right now, I'm looking at it right now, 2025 is when they can renegotiate that one. I think Dak Prescott, home game against Green Bay, we'll see if you could get to an NFC Championship game. You'd probably have to go out to San Francisco, a spot, by the way, that everybody was questioning you the last time, because when you went out there on Sunday Night Football, that was a disaster. Mm-hmm. And everybody, those same questions start coming up again about Dak Prescott. I think he's got more at stake than anybody.
What do you guys think about Jalen Hurts? And I only bring that up because I feel like this team is on the cusp of imploding to where defensively they're terrible. I mean, I don't even understand how you have a team that's won that many games and you're so terrible defensively.
Jamie, I don't know that they're on the cusp of anything. I think they may have already done it.
So okay, so then
1-6 in their, was it 1-5, 1-6 in their last? I think they lost the game before that. It's bad. It's not.
I think it's 1-5 because remember I had the comparison with the Bucs who were 5-1 in their last games. But I look at Jalen Hurts and I know he's got the twisted finger right now, but like what lies ahead for him if they go out there and lay an egg? Like, do people look at Jalen Hurts and be like, that was a one and done, one-hit wonder. That 1 year he did really good with that team. And I don't know.
I think Jalen Hurts is fine. He got paid as well, so he's solidified in his role. I think it's more about guys, like you said, Dak Prescott, who will be coming up for a contract extension at some point. And, again, Jared Goff, a guy that people tend to forget about. It sounds bad, but he seems to be forgettable for people, and people don't tend to think about him in that light. And Detroit, I mean, maybe they end up with a high team pick, especially if they lose this game. If you go draft a quarterback, you know what that means in the first round. I told you I had a teammate. Jamie, I told Anthony this. I had a teammate call me one day. He said, yeah, man, it's been fun, man. I love you, bro. Been good. It's been a hell of a ride. I said, bro, what are you talking about? He said, they drafted his position in the first round. He said, the writing's on the wall. I'm out of here. Like, I'm going to get paid too much. I'm not going to. They didn't draft him to sit him down. He said, I love you, man. It's been real. So if they draft your position in the first round, you're probably not going to have that job for much longer. And the Detroit Lions, we talked about them all week. Michael Penix might slide to wherever they are. It just
I don't
depends.
think he'll get that far.
You don't. Who knows?
Yeah.
You don't know.
No.
So, and you don't know where they're going to be drafting at. So it just depends on how well Jared Goff. For me, I think it's a lot on him going against his former team, a team, again, that he took to a Super Bowl that people tend to forget. Mm-hmm. They don't even think about how great that season was. They had that matchup against the Chiefs where that was one of the best games that I had ever seen, where it was just back and forth in L.A. People forget about Jared Goff. And so I think he has a lot to prove this playoff run.
I know it's supposed to be like negative whatever this weekend, but if Tua and the Dolphins can't get it done, what does that organization do with him? Like, is he still going to be the guy, or could you see something like what the Rams did, where they knew they had a team, but they needed a better quarterback? They went out and got Matt Stafford.
So I would always answer that question. What do you have then? What are your other options? If you can compare Tua to Matthew Stafford, which is what what you're talking about with the Rams. The Rams had an option. Oh, do we want Jared Goff or does Matthew Stafford elevate it? We can get a deal done with Matthew Stafford. Let's go. The Bears, same deal. Justin Fields. We know we have Justin Fields. We also know we have the number 1 overall pick. Mm-hmm. So you better get it right, not just on Justin Fields, but on Caleb Williams and Drake May and Jaden Daniels and Michael Penix. What are your options? So if you're the Dolphins, it's Tua and then what? Because Tua's a pretty good fit for that offense based on his accuracy. I'm not disputing him going in there. If he throws 3 picks, the questions are going to be there. Like, hey, is he the guy? But what are you comparing him to? Because that, I think, is more practical, right? Like, what are my options if I'm the Dolphins? And the Dolphins are in a hell of a better spot than most teams in the NFL. But it is interesting. And I do think Tua, if he plays poorly, I think the questions are going to start coming up. Maybe not to the same degree as some of these other NFL veteran quarterbacks. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Do we have some? Yeah, we do. We got Bills Steelers on Sunday, Cowboys Packers, and Lions Rams. So we have the triple header on Sunday for you of the NFL playoffs. So it should be a lot of fun. Let's do what's trending next here in the Fastlane on 101 ESPN.
Gentlemen, 6 games in 3 days. The NFL Super Wildcard Weekend is upon us, and I'm excited about it. It's going to be awesome. We're talking about football and the playoff teams and the possibilities. It's great. And what else is great is that FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Carey, they always have something special going on.
Yeah, they do. You talked about those 6 games. It's win or go home for those teams. And FanDuel has so many ways for you to pick up the W. You can follow my picks on FanDuel. I've been doing pretty good on
You've been rolling.
You might want to pay attention. New customers can get started with $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet.
Yeah, take Carey's plays, fade my plays. You'll wind up doing pretty good. New customers get started with $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just visit FanDuel.com/fast to join today. Again, that's FanDuel.com/fast to join today. That's, as I mentioned, it's FanDuel. So make every moment more at FanDuel. Get signed up. Take advantage of the promo offer, and then play the board here when it comes to the NFL playoffs. You must be 21 or older and present in Illinois. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's time to find out what's going on in the sports world with What's Trending Now. Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate a car and get tickets to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN. Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it is time for What's Trending. Gentlemen, I don't know if you remember this, but a few years ago when the Blues were set to host the NHL All-Star Game, Jordan Binnington messaged, or actually put it out on Instagram, Justin Bieber. He said, 10 breakaways, me versus you. You score on me, I'll dye my hair platinum blonde, at Justin Bieber. Well, he tweeted today, the bet still stands at Justin Bieber, and that is because Toronto is hosting the NHL All-Star Game. I wanted to ask you guys, do you think that Jordan Binnington is an All-Star this year?
No.
How hard is it to get? You need to be a pretty good team to have multiple players in the All-Star game. Now, the way that it's constructed, right?
Yeah, let's see here. Okay, so if we look at a simple stat, let's call it save percentage, which is one that basically the amount of times you save a puck that's shot at you. I'm trying to find our guy right now here. For whatever reason I can't. Joel Hofer is in here at 32nd in the NHL. And Jordan Binnington's 35th in the NHL with a .905 save percentage. The top goalie that plays on a regular basis would be, you got Martin Jones at .934, but he hasn't played very much. 20 games. Aiden Hill with Vegas, .933. Charlie Lindgren, Chucky Sideburns at .928 right now. So you're a little off when it comes to save percentage. When it comes to goals against, I think that'll be a little bit inflated as well, as we're already down into the 30s here before I find Jordan Binnington at 45th in the NHL, 3.05. So I don't know.
He would have to be better than the Central Division goalies.
Yeah, so, but Connor, first pick is probably going to be Connor Hellebuck.
100%.
And then you've got to look to, UC Saros in Nashville. He's having a pretty good year for those guys. Dallas, Ottinger was hurt for a little bit, so that, but Imminger in Arizona, he's been really good. Or Ingram, rather. Ingram in with the Coyotes, he's been good. I don't know. I think there's an outside chance because of the name recognition, and certainly in the Toronto area where he's from. He may get some votes, but based on just numbers, and that's what they'll look at. Never mind what you see every day as a Blues fan or how much you like the big saves and what he's done for this team. The numbers don't get him there.
And would he get over there over another player on the Blues? I don't know.
The only other guy that is worthy of it is Colton Parayko.
Right.
And that'll be a tough one as well because there are so many unbelievable defensemen in the Central Division. Well, Haskinen's hurt in Dallas, so that opens up a spot, but still you got a lot of Roman Josi, and you got a lot of guys that are pretty good, so I don't know. Be tough.
It would be fun, though, if him and Justin Bieber finally got together after a few years.
I don't even think you need the All-Star game, though. That's the thing. If I'm the NHL, with the skills competition in particular that people are kind of mid on these days, I would be reaching out to Justin Bieber and Jordan Binnington independently and just kind of quietly having that lined up. And then we've got one more event tonight. And the last event of the whole thing is Bieber versus Binnington. Independent, head-to-head. I'd be tuned into that. I'd be like, oh, my God.
I'd watch it.
Yeah, you would. Guys, Pete Carroll is out in Seattle. Well, at least the head coaching job. He will be an advisor. Thoughts on Pete Carroll no longer serving as the Seahawks head coach?
I don't get this one, guys. I don't get this one at all. He said after his post-game conference, they beat the Cardinals on Sunday. He said, yep, I have every intention of being here, being the head coach. I am, I'm not worn out. I'm not tired on this. I'm not that. There was no indication from any Seattle media member or most Seattle media members that Pete Carroll, his job was at jeopardy here. There's got to be something that's going on. Perhaps it's even they look at maybe Dan Quinn and say, now it's the time to strike.
Yeah.
He's he won the Super Bowl as Pete's defense coordinator.
Right. bring him back.
in.
Yeah.
Pete goes to the front office.
I think, to me, it sounded more like a mutual agreement as opposed to Pete Carroll being fired or let go, because he's still going to be on board in some terms with the franchise. So just something that, I mean, maybe when you realize after that post-game conference, you're like, I plan on being back. And then a week or so removed from me, like, yeah, you know what? The grind is a bit much, the day-to-day. The draft is around the corner. There are so many things that go with being a head coach. If you can still be involved, but probably not to the level that you have been, it's probably better for him. And as you said, Dan Quinn is a name that would be looked at highly, because I don't think, we were talking about it earlier, I don't think Mike McCarthy is going to be going anywhere anytime soon, just based on how well they played this year.
Yeah, it would take an embarrassing loss, apparently, to get Mike McCarthy fired, which I don't know if Green Bay would qualify as one or not.
That would be a bad loss at home.
I think Pete Carroll maybe got the tap on the shoulder, too, from the ownership or the upper above. Hey,
That's
by
what
the
I'm
way,
thinking.
Pete, this might be just a little too
Feel
much.
better
for
to
you.
retire and
Why don't you
relax.
sit with me up in the box and watch these games, and you can advise our guys a little bit here.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. I don't think this was Pete Carroll's decision.
I
No.
agree. I think it was a nudge.
Yeah. And again, there must be a reason for that nudge. If you want him to be the head coach, you
The guy's
just leave him.
72 years old. Nothing against him being 72, but like
He's got a lot of energy.
he does have a lot of energy. He's in pretty good shape. He runs around. Yeah, he likes to throw the football before the game. Not great throwing style, but looks like he's had a few shoulder injuries over the years. But I think it's time.
Or maybe Jim Harbaugh. Maybe they know. Maybe they've got a beat on Jim Harbaugh.
Jim Harbaugh, I don't know.
Do you think that state is going to welcome in Jim Harbaugh after
Absolutely.
beating
What he just
Washington?
did?
Absolutely.
No chance.
Absolutely.
In that area, too?
Yes.
The Northwest?
100%.
They already hate him when he was with the 49ers.
They did.
Hey, can't beat him. Join him. Or hire him.
I'm out
That's
on
it,
that.
Jim.
Hire
I'm
him.
calling it. Jim Harbaugh to Seahawks.
I'm out.
I think it's got Dan Quinn written all over it.
Yeah,
There's some names. Ben Johnson.
Dan Quinn was a coach there twice before.
Yep.
So I
Under
think
Pete
it's
Carroll.
a natural.
Yep. I agree. But based on Marsh's reaction there, I now hope that it's Jim Harbaugh.
Come on, Anthony. Speaking of injuries, you mentioned Pete Carroll might have injured his shoulder. Well, Connor Bedard broke his jaw, and he's out for 6 to 8 weeks. How do you guys think that this impacts the NHL from a national standpoint?
Oh, I think the Blackhawks are going to be terrible in that. They're going to be terrible.
Didn't Charo play with a broken jaw? What's the difference?
Yeah, Chara came back and sat on the bench, wanted to play, and they didn't play him.
Oh.
That
Then
was
he came
also
back
the Stanley Cup.
Then he came back 2 days later with it wired shut. and
wired
played.
shut.
First
Yeah.
shift of the game, yeah.
Get to it. What's the problem here?
Yeah, there's a difference between those two players.
In the situation.
And the situation, too.
Worst team,
Yeah,
one of
but-
the worst teams in the league, Stanley Cup final.
Hey, you play to win the game, don't you?
Zdeno
End of his career. Just beginning.
Yeah.
I can tell you this. I played with Chara at the start of his career. That happened when he played for the Islanders, who we were terrible. And he broke his jaw. He'd be back the next game.
I believe that. I believe that. All right. That's what's trending here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. Miles Mikolas had some interesting comments about Wilson Contreras following last season, everything that went down.
9 months late.
Okay, Jamie.
Could have used these comments while he was drowning, but that's
never.
okay.
Well, okay, Jamie's got some.
Throw the guy a life jacket, or he's already drowned. No, sorry.
It's too late.
Sorry. We had the life jacket over
There was like 5 of them. I couldn't decide which one.
There's enough room on the boat or on the plane.
Come on, Jack.
Literally, there's enough room.
Let go, Jack. Yeah. We'll see you, buddy. See ya.
Leave your jacket, though.
Oh, man.
I'll hold on to this. Is that water cold? All right. Well, Miles Mikolas. His comments on Contreras next on 101 ESPN.
took a lot of heat off of us as a staff that wasn't performing well, and that takes a big guy to do that, to say, hey, I'm going to take some of this heat for our pitching staff doing well, when I'm usually the first guy to say, I'm in control of my game. If I pitch poorly, that's on me. And, he was big enough to stand up, and, he kind of took some of that heat and he took it in stride.
So that was Miles Mikolas.
I have so much to say.
Okay.
Go ahead.
That's Jamie Rivers.
Set it up, Anthony.
Well, why don't we hand out some Billy Joel tickets first? Let's do that.
You're trying to freeze the kicker here, aren't you? Okay.
I am. You've been waiting. You've been chomping at the bit for the last couple of minutes here, so I want to get you more riled up here. 101 ESPN, that's us. We have your chance to score a pair of tickets to Billy Joel and Sting for one night only on Friday, September 27th at Busch Stadium. You can find all the ticket details and a bonus chance to register to win tickets to Billy Joel and Sting at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 mobile app. However, with tickets going on sale this Friday at 10 a.m., you can now win free tickets by texting into the Air Comfort Service text line, and we'll give you that in a second, but we need to give you a question first. Jamie, you thought of a good one.
Oh, yeah. This one's it takes some thinking. So Billy Joel was married to Christy Brinkley. Christy Brinkley got her big break for starring in a movie in a minimal role, but it's probably her most famous role ever. What movie was that?
There you go. If you know the correct answer and you're the 101st texter, 314-399-9646, you will go see Billy Joel and Sting one night only on Friday, September 27th at Busch Stadium. Jim Hayes tweeted out that interview or that message, a video by Miles Mikolas. What he talked about with Willson Contreras. It takes a big man to say, hey, I'm going to take the heat on this. Everything that went down last year when the Cardinals appeared to throw Willson Contreras under the bus for all the pitching problems.
Not appear.
They threw Willson Contreras under the bus for all their pitching problems.
Thanks.
Jamie, go.
So I don't like this at all. A couple things I don't like. And look, I'm sure Miles Mikolas coming clean now about this whole situation. Like, I'm sure he feels like, oh, this is great to get it out there and whatnot. But it's on the heels of Jack Flaherty basically saying the same thing.
Yes.
That, like, the pitching staff, to a man almost, threw Contreras under the bus. And what we're finding out now, which makes me like Contreras even more, is Contreras said nothing. Mm-hmm. Miles Mikolas said, well, he kind of wore it. He didn't say anything, and whatever he said there, but basically said Contreras, like, just let everybody do their thing. You guys go ahead. I'm man enough. I'll take it. I'll be the guy. What the hell are we doing here?
He's the only leader of that group then.
But what are we doing? The pitchers blamed the catchers, and now, like 9 months later, are like, well, really, we didn't pitch very good. It's not really his fault. Well, why the hell didn't you say that when your buddy, your teammate, had the firing squad ready for him? The media and everybody else, and, the worst signing ever, and why the hell did Mozeliak do this? And then the manager saying he's going to be in the outfield, and then, no, he's not going to be in the outfield. All of this transpired, and Mikolas and Flaherty and Adam Wainwright and whoever else, Steven Matz, these guys could have come out and said, listen, what's happening here right now to Willson Contreras isn't right. We haven't located our pitches at all. That's on us. And we haven't communicated well enough with Willson Contreras over pitches we'd rather throw in certain situations because, well, we were off trying to win a WBC, and we didn't do that either. Sorry, that was extra. I didn't.
Shots fired.
That was a little extra.
Team USA.
I love the energy.
It was true.
I love it.
He's rolling. Let him go.
But a little bit of a ricochet there.
Yeah,
so, anyways, I just don't like it. If I had a defense partner that I played with, a new guy that came to the team, and we're terrible as a group, and it's me that's getting burned all the time, and the media's going after him, and I'm like, yeah. I don't know what he's doing. Not sure why we signed him. No.
What do you have to say for yourself? As you're still in your jersey.
I would say I'm terrible right now.
Yeah.
This poor guy here is dealing with this. Like, what bad comes of telling the truth in the moment? Mm-hmm. Everybody knew that the Cardinals pitching staff was not good. Just come clean and say, hey, listen, we are not locating pitches. Not sure why. It has nothing to do with the guy behind the dish. Is he new? Yeah. Is he Yachty? No. That's the only things that are true right now.
Right.
There were so many reports that came out all last season. You had the Michael Carey report where they were saying, oh, he's calling pitches that pitchers don't even have. And then it happened, or maybe it happened twice, or it happened a couple of times.
Well, maybe you should have that pitch.
And maybe you should. Maybe that's why I called it. Dummy, throw this. Anyone that had eyes, well, you should learn it now. Anyone that had eyes could tell that the pitchers, again, as you said, weren't locating their pitches. It was, I'm set up here, you throw it here. I'm set up on the ground, you throw it high. It was so many times where, how can you blame the catcher for calling a pitch? The last time I checked, if a pitcher throws the ball, it's coming out of his hand. I can tell you what pitch I want to throw or not. Nope, don't want that. I can hear it. Nope, no, I want that. Yep, that one. And then I throw it. If I don't throw it correctly, how the hell do you blame the guy behind the plate that is trying to catch it? That was all season long. And for them to now come out, what this does as a teammate, like you said, if you were to move away from that teammate, now I no longer trust you. And if I no longer trust you, I'm probably not going to do all of the things that I need to do to protect you when I need to protect you. I had a situation like that happen to me in college. Offensive linemen, group of them. We had a hard offensive line coach. He was this big, Coach Heastan. He broke tables. He yelled so loud he would make the room shake. Offensive line, hey, CD, we need you to talk to Coach. Heastan is on us too bad. Can you talk to Coach Turner? I got a relationship with the coach. Hey, Coach, I'm a junior. These guys, some of them older than me. Talk to the head coach. Hey, can you talk to Coach Easton? He's a lineman getting in. He's on
I
too
know where
much.
this is going.
They asked me to come speak to you. Can you have him dial it back a little bit? Yeah, I'll see what I can do. He calls me in a couple of days later. CD, they said they never said that. Oh. Really? I said, do you think I walked in your office to give a damn about what goes in their room? What goes on? No. So what they do, they threw me under the bus.
Wow.
I don't like you guys anymore. You figure it out. I don't care if he kills you in there. It's on you now. So when your teammates don't protect you, when they don't stand up for you, when they let you have all of the things aimed at you and they don't respond. I saw Wilson Contreras a couple of times last year, and he was, the events we saw him at, he was secluded. He was to himself. Because if I don't know who to trust, why would I be interacting with everyone when my teammates literally sit there and watch me take the brunt of all of this blame, and they're not saying it? And now, 6 months later, oh, yeah, you know what? That guy wasn't that bad. He actually, we messed up.
It was our bad. Meanwhile, we're not even saying it while he's around us. We're saying it via Zoom on a podcast because we don't have the, you know what,
say it out
loud in front of him.
Say it to him and then stand up next to him when he's in front of reporters. This isn't his fault. Mm-hmm. I have to pitch better. He calls the pitches, I throw the pitches. I don't care what he calls. I have to have conviction when I throw it and have the thought that it's going to be a good pitch. And I have to locate it where he's asking me to. Because if I hang it over the middle, I'm going to turn around and watch it.
Just real quick, Anthony, I know you got something there. You brought up the whole calling pitches that the pitcher didn't have.
Yeah.
I read a thing about 5 months ago, maybe longer now. It was after the Wilson Contreras thing had started and that came out, that Yadier Molina at times called pitches that pitchers didn't have. And then when they shook him off, he'd go to a mound visit and say, what's the problem? He'd go, well, I don't have that pitch. He said, well, you should, because that's what you be. This is what you should be throwing here right now. Mm-hmm. But we didn't hear about that.
Right.
Pitchers didn't go, well, I sucked yesterday because Yachty came out and asked for a slider, which I don't have.
Throw that at all.
Well, what did he tell you? He said, well, I should have a slider because that's what the pitch is, the best pitch in this situation would be.
Yeah.
So what'd you do? Well, I went back to the bullpen, started working on
a slider because Yachty told me to.
So anyway, sorry, Anthony.
No, that's fine.
I can tell you want to defend Mikolas. Go ahead.
I think that, yeah.
That guy.
Just ripped him for 9 minutes. Let me defend him now.
Yeah. Even when he did crap on your boat idea, too.
He hate me because he ain't me.
You hate me because you ain't me. That's a boat idea I had for him.
And he hated my nickname.
And he hated your Moose nickname. So.
Really?
Moose Mikolas. The size of the guy, he didn't like it. He's like, well, I'm from Florida. I said, okay, Manatee. Manatee Mikolas.
Yeah. Like, okay. No, I think that this is... I think that all of this, like big picture, this goes to the lack of grit that team had last year. Everything started to go sideways, fingers started to be pointed, or people started to go internally, and that was it. There was a lack of leadership there, unfortunately. Now, you can't ask somebody to be a leader if he's not a leader. So hopefully they've got enough leaders now within that clubhouse where if things start to go sideways a little bit, you bring it back in.
They have a leader, and his name is Wilson Contreras.
Okay, well,
because if he wore that,
you're right.
He is the
never
leader
heard about
of
it
that
from
team.
him.
He didn't say
You're
a
right.
word. He sat there and let the media pick him apart.
Mm-hmm.
He let what teammates feel like they threw him under the bus. He did not say one word, and he still hasn't said one word. 2 of his starting pitchers have now spoken out in his defense. Fine timing, gentlemen. It should have happened months ago because that's what you do that's what great teams are. They hold each other accountable, they protect one another, and they make sure that if one guy is getting beat down, this is not going to happen. This is my guy. I'm going to make sure he's protected.
2 things here. 1, I wonder if they would have even said anything if they weren't even asked the question. 2, it makes me wonder how long that Yadier Molina was masking this team's pitching issues.
Well, I wonder if that, unfortunately, that was part of the issue, too, where Yadi, because he was Yadi, he made the pitching staff a lot better than what it was. So now you hit the reset button on it, and you realize you don't have him behind there. And by the way, the combination of Dave Duncan and Yadier Molina will always be unbeatable. Mm-hmm. So you don't have either guy now. Now Dave has been retired
looks like
for a while.
Mad Dog wasn't too bad either.
Mad Dog wasn't too bad either.
Rangers seemed to do okay with him.
Jordan Montgomery fixed Jordan Montgomery, and not that Montgomery. I shouldn't say fix. He elevated Montgomery even more than what he was. So. Yeah, it looks like they had the right voice there too, but maybe there was you didn't like the message, There's some internal stuff here. It's not just signings, it's not just trades. There's some internal stuff that needs to be ironed out.
That's like I said, good teams take care of one another. They make sure they're all. You're not always going to agree with their. You're going to have teammates you want to punch in the face. Mm-hmm. Like it's part.
You have teammates that you do punch in the face.
There you go. It happens, but at the end of the day,
shouldn't have been standing
if you
there.
punch a teammate in the face, nobody outside of that locker room knows.
That's the key.
Right.
No one. You get punched in the face. Nobody knows.
A good locker room never ever lets out the secrets. Mm-hmm. You internalize that within the group. You handle it within the group so that when you hit the ice or you hit the field, you're getting the most competitive product that's going to go to battle for each other.
Correct.
You don't have those cracks like that in the foundation.
I always bring this up with your Steelers. When did we know Antonio Brown had a screw loose?
When he put that dang on video on IG, it would be my.
When he got to the Raiders.
Oh yeah. Oh well yeah.
I mean. It was,
he did, yes. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Kind of figure some things out.
Yeah, but they masked it.
The Steelers did a great job.
They allowed him to just be him.
But still
we didn't
within
really
the
know
confines of keeping it within the team, to your guys' point. All right, Jeremy Rutherford's going to join us next. Talk a little Blues hockey with our Blues Insider from The Athletic next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
Gentlemen, the NFL Super Wildcard Weekend is upon us. Just a couple days away. We're going to have 6 games in 3 days. It's going to be so exciting.
Heck yeah.
And what I love to do is I love to get on FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and I love to bet all sorts of things. But the one thing I know, Carey, is they always have something available even for the new customers.
Yeah, FanDuel has so many ways for you to pick up the W. I actually like the Houston Texans at home versus the Cleveland Browns. I know you all don't like it.
Shocker.
But here's another one. The Philadelphia Eagles to beat Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay, despite how poorly they're playing. I still like the Eagles. So you can pick my picks to go on FanDuel right now to do that. New customers can get started with $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet.
But you do have to get signed up, so just visit FanDuel.com/fast. Again, FanDuel.com/fast to join today, and you can make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older and present in Illinois. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Notes, and nuggets. It's time for the Rutherford Report with our Blues insider, Jeremy Rutherford. Brought to you by Scott Lee Heating Company, a proud Mitsubishi Electric Elite contractor.
Fall to the Panthers last night, 5-1. Joining us to talk about all things Blues is our Blues insider with The Athletic, Jeremy Rutherford, who joins us right now via the 101 ESPN Celebrity Line. JR, certainly not the game that the Blues wanted last night, but they played a lot better than the 5-1 score would indicate. I guess I'll just ask you the same question that you probably assume is coming. You'll get on damn near every show. How do you fix this power play?
Yeah, I just jotted down some notes for the past 15 minutes, and I'm like, I hope they ask me about this stuff.
So what's the answer, JR? Enough with the joking. What's wrong with the power play?
Problem, JR. I don't appreciate your laughter.
Let's do the breaking news sounder. I have the answer to the power play here.
Go ahead, Marsh. Let's fire it out here.
Fire it up.
Come on.
Who needs Brad Richards? We got JR.
Yeah.
101 ESPN breaking news alert.
What do you got, JR?
Hi, this is Jeremy Rutherford in Imperial, Missouri, reporting for the Fast Lane today. And the power play has struggled this year. It is 12 for 113. That's 10.6%. It is now last in the NHL, dead last. And after talking to Drew Bannister today, guys, they have come to the conclusion that the power play needs to score.
That was great.
You know, Jamie, why don't you ever say anything like that?
Why did you insightful? What are you doing?
He's been asking you for weeks now. What's wrong with this power play?
You got to score. How simple is that?
Good stuff, JR.
Oversimplified.
JR, you're hired.
That's all I got. That's all I got.
All right. Fair enough.
That's unfortunate.
JR, when you're watching that game last night, for you, obviously the power play is the black eye of the game. They don't score on the 4-minute power play, and then they don't score on the power play to begin the third period where they're down by a goal and desperately needed a goal at that point. But when you're watching that game, aside from the power play, what are some other things that you picked up in that loss?
Well, obviously power play, number one. But, yeah, I thought the first two periods were pretty good. First period was great, like you were saying earlier, Riv. There was a little sloppy puck play at times. I feel like that could have been better. But it's tough against a good Florida team that's been humming here lately. I think, like Drew Bannister said, there was one tough mistake made with that Vrana turnover. But you can't lose a game on one play necessarily. I know we're avoiding the power play here, but I just go back to that. Like when you have the 4-minute power play, and then you have the minute 49 fresh ice to start the third. You got to score. That's the number one thing with this, guys, is I think even when the 4 minutes goes up on the Jumbotron and you realize the significance of it, who in the building thinks this unit's going to score? It's gotten to that point where you just don't even believe that it's coming.
JR, the Blues are 7-4 in their last 11 games, and this is a pretty tough stretch for them. What do they need to do, obviously, other than the obvious, to make sure that they compete and get some wins out of the stretch?
Yeah, I think just continue to play like they've been playing for the most part lately. Even the first two periods last night, as we said. But they've been playing some good teams here lately in Vancouver and Carolina, and playing tight games and showing up in the third period. And last night it got away from them. But I think you're going to run into obviously some tough teams here, like you said, New York and Boston, and next week you got Philadelphia. I wonder, that'll be a little interesting off the ice. But I just think it's a situation. Just keep doing what you're doing. A couple mistakes last night cost you. But for the most part, I like the way that they've been trending lately.
Jeremy Rutherford, our Blues insider with The Athletic, joining us right now on the Fast Lane. So you just alluded to the Kevin Hayes situation. What can you share about it, and what should we know?
Yeah, just how adamant Kevin Hayes was yesterday when I asked him about the situation with Cutter Gauthier there, the prospect in Philadelphia, now traded to Anaheim. I'm sure you guys have covered it up and down, so we don't need to necessarily set the table anymore. But all I know is that when I asked Kevin Hayes, hey, do you have a response to that? The next 3 minutes and 30 seconds were Kevin Hayes talking. So he was pretty upset by the situation, with understandably so. He feels like he had no part in Gauthier's decision, which forced the trade to Anaheim, and wanted to make sure he was trying to clear his name, the fact that he did not steer the prospect away from the Philadelphia Flyers.
JR, do you think a situation like that could impact him on the ice? That's a life situation. We worry about the sport aspect, but the actual living part can that impact him on the ice?
I think so, Carey, to a certain degree. Obviously, as Riv knows, once you drop the puck, you tend to put that stuff behind you for a couple hours, and you know that too, Carey. But I think that the magnitude to which it got, none of us are Kevin Hayes. None of us went on social media yesterday morning and saw death threats and, comments about his brother who's passed. And I know you guys have talked about how despicable that was. Unfortunately, social media, pro sports, we see that stuff all the time, but we've never lived a day, at least I haven't, Anthony hasn't. Sorry to bring that up, Anthony, in these guys' shoes in terms of what they have to deal with. So, for the most part, Kevin tried to put it to rest yesterday. I'm sure it'll linger on, especially with the Flyers coming to town next week. But for a couple hours anyway, I'm sure you just try to put it away.
Yeah, and I'd like a caveat there. Yet, JR, I haven't lived that yet.
That's a good point, Anthony.
Still time.
This is going to be a college baseball comment there.
Yeah.
But.
Hey,
Yeah.
JR, the Blues Hall of Fame ceremony that weekend is coming up here soon, and it was announced today that former Blues executive Susie Matthew will be honored with the first ever True Blue Award for her commitment and the impact on the organization. Let me just say, I'm going to ask you about this in a second, but Susie Matthew and I have a direct connection, and the connection is on draft day in 1993. I had interviewed with the Blues twice that weekend, and wasn't even supposed to talk to them once. I talked to them twice, and after the second interview, they got together, had a meeting, and then on the floor, the draft floor, they had their second pick coming up, and they're all talking about who they wanted to pick, and Susie Matthews says, I want to pick Jamie Rivers. I like Jamie Rivers. He's my pick. And they all said, well, he's a good interview. He did this. And so they announced me as their second pick that year at the draft. And Susie Matthew and I always joke about it to this day that I was her pick.
That's awesome.
And so I think it's a great award for someone who's just an awesome individual that brought so much to this organization, JR.
As you know, I'm not going to tell you anything you don't know. She is the absolute best. That's a great story. I've known Susie for several years. You guys, she was the first ever PR director for a professional sports franchise, to my knowledge, in any of the big sports.
Wow.
And so that was in the 1970s with the St. Louis Blues. And obviously she was way, way, way much more than a PR director. As you said, she did the draft for him, right? But I talked to Brett Hull a couple times, and he said Susie was a second mom to me. She picked me up at the airport after the trade from Calgary, and she never left his side. One time I was working on a story about Brett Hull, and I called Susie Matthew, and she goes, Jeremy, I couldn't find him for like 3 days. I'm trying to get a hold of him. All of a sudden, there's a report in Minnesota of this car wreck, and the TV stations are calling me. They're saying the car that was in the accident, and there was a fatality, it was Brett Hull's license plate, and I can't get a hold of him. I'm so worried about Brett. Finally, Jeremy, I get a hold of him, and I tell Brett the story, and Brett goes, let him worry. Don't worry about it. I'm fine. So Susie was always watching him, right? She was always babysitting Brett Hull.
Well, that's the thing. And that's the beauty of all of this is Susie Matthew was Brett Hull's babysitter. Now, so much more for the organization, but she took care of Brett, made sure that he got to, appearances and sign things and did this and did that. Like he said, it was like his second mother, and that's not a lie. So the organization certainly owes a lot to Susie Matthew, and I'm just thrilled that they have this award, and she's the first recipient, man. She is so deserving of it. Just saw her, Anthony, not too long ago at the Blues Alumni Holiday Skate, her and her husband, and it's awesome. Every time I see her, we have a good laugh, and she always tells that story and told my kids that story. So I'm thrilled for her, and I know you are too, JR.
Yeah, and I can't wait to hear more of the stories. You guys know 1986, Monday Night Miracle, Blues beat Calgary here in St. Louis, and then they've got to go to Calgary for Game 7, and if they win, they're going to play in the Stanley Cup Final. Well, they lose, and Harry Orness cancels the plane flight and the plane reservations back to St. Louis. Guess who put all the players' flights on their credit card for the flight from Calgary back to St. Louis? Susie Matthew and Bernie Federko put them on their personal credit cards to get the boys back home from Calgary.
That's incredible.
She did it all, yeah.
That's great stuff, JR. Well, thank you for some of those stories. And also thank you, of course, for the breaking news on how to fix the power play. Something we haven't thought of. Just score more on the power play.
I got a lot more notes here that we
Well, we'll bring you back next week. How about that? We'll go over more of them.
Okay. Let's do next Wednesday.
Okay. Next Wednesday, right around the same time. All right, JR. Have a good rest of your week, man.
All right, you guys too. Bye.
At JP Rutherford online for more hard-hitting stuff. JR's the best.
Oh, he's awesome.
Fantastic.
That was great.
Yeah, he's great. It's Fast on 101 ESPN. We will do our Sports Six-Pack coming up in about 15 minutes, so send in any questions that you have, 314-399-9646, the Air Comfort Service text line. Or you can reach us on the Air Alliance Team YouTube channel at 101 ESPN STL, affectionately known as the Snake Pit. Fastlane Snake Pit. So any sports questions, Six-Pack coming up in 15 minutes. How would you rank the current job openings in the NFL now that we know that Seattle is open? That's next on 101 ESPN. Right now at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum, they got a New Year's special on select Nissan models. No money down, plus no payments for 3 months. If that doesn't entice it, and I don't know why it wouldn't, but if it doesn't entice you, they have other great deals at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum. They've got new Nissan 2024 Kicks and new Nissan Pathfinders. If you're not in the market necessarily for a new Nissan, you're looking at pre-owned vehicles. Great, they've got them there too. If you head to AutoCentersNissan.com, you can first check out the wide selection of vehicles that they have: cars, trucks, SUVs, whatever you're looking for, any make, any model too. It's not just new Nissans. They have pre-owned vehicles with different makes and models. Head to AutoCentersNissan.com, check them out, and then when you go to the dealership, and all you have to do is go to one dealership, that's it. It's out in Herculaneum. Great new spot. You can test drive the vehicles that you're looking for at AutoCentersNissan.com. That's what my wife Kristen and I did when we purchased a pre-owned Pathfinder a couple of months ago. We loved the experience there. We go there all the time. When it comes to Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum, they give you the 30-day return promise, the free lifetime complimentary warranty as well on all new Nissans. You're going to enjoy your experience. Tell them Stalter sent you. Check them out at AutoCentersNissan.com or out in Herculaneum. It's Auto Centers Nissan.
.101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues lost last night to the Florida Panthers by a final score of 5-1. They will be back in action tomorrow, taking on the New York Rangers. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7, and you can catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. We just talked with Jeremy Rutherford, our Blues insider from The Athletic. If you missed that interview, or if you missed anything from today's show. Make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page. You'll find all of our interviews and all of our full shows there. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Now that we know that the Seattle job is open with Pete Carroll moving to a different role within the Seahawks organization, how would you rank the current job openings in the NFL? Let's do this first. Let's talk about like obviously the least attractive job would be
Carolina. I wouldn't want to go there. I mean, if I needed a coaching job, like I said, I wouldn't want to go there. If I had other options,
right,
I would exercise those options. The team is terrible. It's just the beginning, and I don't want to play for that guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the easiest division, though, of all of the ones.
Yeah, but Carey, there's no
list.
guarantee. Like Frank Reich went there. He's gone halfway through the season.
Yeah, there are no guarantees, but if you're thinking of all things being okay, that division is.
You're telling me that'd be your first pick?
It wouldn't be my last.
It wouldn't be your last.
Nah.
Who would be your last? Who would be your last?
The Commanders are pretty terrible, too.
They got great ownership now, though. They're not going to be terrible very long.
They are pretty terrible, though.
But they won't be long.
Typically a proud organization.
And the division, like when you think about, you have to. St. Louis Cardinals got this thing figured out. You got to win the division, people.
He goes again. He doubled down on it. By the way, if you're listening and you missed
gotta win
it,
your division. What are we doing?
Just when I was ready to kind of.
You were almost there.
I was almost there.
You were almost
You
back.
have to win.
Anthony was almost there, Carey, and then you did that.
I know. It ruined it for him, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm down again.
You sure are.
You got to win your division.
Wouldn't you want a coach that would go in there and has the mindset that I can turn this around?
Yes.
That's what I would want.
But to Jamie, so let's just say Jamie's point.
Which
here.
one?
The one where he said if you have options, right? If you are in demand. That's how we're going to look at it. The Carolina Panthers are the absolute worst job.
They are the worst. If you have options,
because of David Tepper.
I agree.
What? Now you agree?
No. I agree. They're a terrible situation.
Just argued with me for 2 minutes.
However,
He did. You heard it.
So he asked me which one is worse. If I got two options and the options are the Commanders or the Panthers, I'm probably going to go to Panthers. I'm probably going to. The division is easier, people.
Carey, that's going to change. You got to.
Can't always take the easiest
It's
path,
not.
Carey.
Carey.
You want to play against the Cowboys?
You want to work for
and
a
the
bad
Eagles
owner?
every single. How much?
You want to work with a bad
every Tuesday?
Yeah, but it might only clear for 6 months.
It may, but guess what? I got guarantees, and I'm sure it's going to clear for the next
He's going
6
to
months.
throw you out if you're the head coach. If you're bad, he'll throw you out like a water
You're
bottle.
going to be worse. Yeah, listen, that division is terrible. What were the Falcons this year? 5-8, 6 and
7 and 10.
7 and 10.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
Yeah, same record as the Vikings.
And the Saints. What were the Saints? 7 and 10.
8 and 9.
No, yeah.
9 and 8.
How many teams
Yeah. 9 and
were
8.
above 500 in that division?
Two.
Bucks and Saints.
They're good teams.
Bucks
though.
and the Saints did go 9 and 8.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
thanks.
not barely.
Thanks to
barely squeaked by.
Well, they won the last 2 games.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
not a great division.
No, I'm not arguing that. You're not going to get any pushback there. All right, I still think the Panthers are the worst gig. What would be the best?
I mean, I think it's the Chargers.
That's wrong.
Chargers, for me, in order of like pecking order, would be Chargers, Seahawks, Titans.
See, well, yeah. I mean, because none of those teams, other than the Chargers, have a quarterback that you trust. Seahawks, you got Geno.
You're fine.
He
You at least
didn't
have the
right
bones.
back.
You're
fine.
You
Yeah.
love it, but is he? He had a great year last year.
2 years, yeah. So not this
last
past
season. Yeah, 22 season, not the 23 season. The Titans, they've drafted a couple of quarterbacks back to back, and they still started Tannehill at some point. So there's that. And the Raiders, Aiden O'Connell, they got rid of Derek Carr. Aiden is fine. Jimmy G didn't play. We don't know. There are so many questions. There's really only, for me, one answer, and that's the Chargers. Because they have the quarterback position solidified. You don't have to worry about that. And they got to – now, that team is getting older. Keenan Allen is getting older.
They have issues.
Mike Williams can't stay healthy at all. Their first-round draft pick was
Quentin Johnson.
Quentin Johnson.
Yeah.
Johnson didn't catch enough passes at all.
The Chiefs should have drafted him.
No, he'd have fit in perfectly.
Exactly. Marsh set you up there.
So, yeah, it's still the Chargers because of the quarterback position.
Exactly.
But, again, everything around them is getting a little bit older.
Yeah, Austin Eckler is coming off a rough year. He's going to be done. He's trending in the wrong direction. They were smart not to pay him.
Yep.
Joey Bosa is going to have to take a haircut because the cap situation isn't great, like you said, the roster. But they've got the ultimate equalizer, which is they got Justin Herbert.
Correct.
So out of all those teams, I agree, Jamie, it's the Chargers, then the Seahawks, because at least they've got good
because
bones,
they still have
great ownership,
kind of a team.
Yeah, I would go Falcons over Titans.
Really?
Yes.
Oof.
I think the Falcons have.
He can't help himself.
He can't.
Yeah.
Nobody craps on the Falcons like I do.
Yeah, but nobody defends him more than you do, too. It's weird.
It is kind of weird.
Right. It's like, I hate these guys. But I'm going to pick him to win tomorrow.
Anyways.
What's that called? Stockholm Syndrome?
Yes.
I got that.
You are.
Yeah. Like, well, not too bad when they torture me. They're kind of nice. No, but in all seriousness, that the Falcons, I think, have a better roster than the Titans do. Neither team has a quarterback.
Yeah.
But the defense, they spent wisely last year. Jesse Bates was outstanding. Everybody's like, oh, they paid him too much money. Really? Because he was incredible all season long. They got Grady Jarrett coming back. They've got the pieces on offense. They don't have a quarterback. The Titans don't have a quarterback either.
Right.
And I think the Falcons have more top to bottom. Tennessee's defense is terrible. There's not a lot there.
They got
outside of Jeffrey Simmons.
Yeah, he's a guy.
Who else?
Yeah, he does. He was hurt a lot this year. When he's healthy and playing well, they are hard to run on. They are a hard team to do much on because he creates so much havoc in the backfield. So that makes a huge difference. They do need some more depth around on the defensive side. I still feel like that they. I don't know. Atlanta built their team wrong. And I cannot go with them.
What makes you say that?
Why would you draft all of these skill guys and not have A, a person to get the ball to them, B, an offensive line to protect and pave the way for them?
The O-line is good.
Well, they can't get the ball to the guys.
They don't have a quarterback.
Oh, Jesus.
They don't have a quarterback. They got a good old line. They got the skill positions. They got to get speed, and they've got to get a competent head coach.
They got some work to do.
They certainly do.
But they're in the great division.
Going back to your original point. All right, it's a fast lane on 101 ESPN to get a question for us. Our sports six-pack is next. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service tax line. By the way, speaking of which, Pat from Freeburg won the tickets for Billy Joel and Sting. Jamie had the question.
Billy Joel's one-time wife,
Christy Brinkley.
I always say Brooke Shields because somebody wrote Blue Lagoon on here. Christy Brinkley is most famous for a small part in a movie. What movie was that?
And it was, correct answer is...
Holiday Row.
It's Vacation. National Lampoon's Vacation.
Who could forget that?
So, Pat, nice job.
I yelled. Honey, it's okay. I yelled because this girl in here had no clothes on, and she said the water's cold. It scared me. Is that what happened, Clark?
Those movies are great. So, Pat from Freeburg won the tickets. All right, Sports Six-Pack next.
Cheap, fun.
It's about to get very cold here in St. Louis. Looking at the weather and like, whoo, boy, that is cold. What better way to warm up than with a little Maker's Mark? Right now, Dirt Cheap has the Snow Day Maker's Mark, and had a pour of this the other night, and it is great. Smooth, warm, and little bite after that. It's definitely going to warm you up on those cold winter days. And that's not the only bourbon they have available at Dirt Cheap. They've got Blanton's, they've got Elijah Craig, they've got Bullet, they've got Angel's Envy, they've got all the big dogs. And don't forget that the name Dirt Cheap is all it's talking about is the prices, not the product. So you get in Dirt Cheap, they have great savings, specials all the time, giveaways. They've got raffles. Raffles for some amazing bourbons that are there, and they'll sell them to you at the actual retail price. It won't be an inflated price because Dirt Cheap, they're here to save you money and give you great customer service. Another great way to get customer service is download the app. On the app, you have even more savings, giveaways, and clubs that you can be a part of. But you also have the ability to have your alcohol delivered to you. Dirt Cheap now has delivery to your home, and all of that is through the app. You won't be sorry. You're going to love it. Walk into any of the Dirt Cheap locations. Tell them that Jamie Rivers sent you in. They love hearing that. And they're going to help you out, and they're going to make sure you leave there happy. And remember, have fun, but be careful out there.
Spectrum Business is made to work like your small business. Made to do it all with fast, ultra-reliable internet, phone, and mobile services. And made to work with a small business budget. Get 600 megabit per second business internet for just $49.99 a month for 1 year with select bundles. Plus, get an unlimited mobile line for free. Visit spectrum.com/work to lock in this deal now. Learn more at spectrum.com/work. Restrictions apply. Services not available in all areas.
Get the best at 100 West. 100 West Dental. No insurance? No problem. 100 West Dental has a plan when you don't. For ease and affordability. Feeling nervous? Not anymore. 100 West Dental provides complete comfort during quality care. Over 350 five-star reviews agree. When you want to get your smile into winning shape, get the best at 100 West. 100 West Dental. Consult virtually with Dr. Pryor or book online at 100westdental.com.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six Pack is now.
If you have a question for us, you can send it into the Air Comfort Service text line at 314-399-9646. Time for our Sports Six-Pack with Carey Davis and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Here's Andrew Marsh.
Question number one.
We were talking about Jim Harbaugh earlier because Pete Carroll is out as head coach in Seattle, and Anthony had a great idea that was only in his mind that maybe he should be the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks, even though those fans in Washington just had their hearts crushed on Monday night.
So what?
From the 314, better fit for Jim Harbaugh. Going back to Michigan, going to the Chargers or Seattle.
So I would love to see him with the Chargers. I think Jim Harbaugh with Justin Herbert and that team, I think that's what they're missing, quite honestly. I think the Chargers are an unmotivated team that, yeah, well, we're the second team in LA. We're always me. We've got a good quarterback, but the coach sucked before. Like, they just seem like almost like a lifeless team. And I think Jim Harbaugh would have to fix that.
Not going to like my answer.
Michigan.
You're going to win the division.
Oh, geez.
You know this stuff is cyclical, right?
You know what? I have to sit down. I just have to sit down. This guy.
The Chiefs are in the division. Go back to Michigan.
So, oh, yeah, because there's no trouble. There's not many powerhouses.
Not as much.
Oh, God. Carey, wrap your brain around the fact that he's not going back to Michigan.
I think he's going back to Michigan. Didn't you hear those fans when they got off the plane shouting one more year? They want to see him repeat.
One more year after you're suspended a year. One more year.
Right. If he's suspended, he's out of there. And I think the Chargers would be the best fit.
Chargers.
Yeah.
He got
Chargers.
He does this
Final
all
answer.
the time now.
Yeah. He argues.
He argues and then agrees.
3 minutes later, he's like, "What you guys said?"
It feels like a relationship I was in one time before, Anthony.
Hey, yeah. Trust me.
Yeah, trust me.
Question number 2.
We haven't talked about this, at least on this show, but from the 636, was Blake Baker posting the Wolf of Wall Street GIF, or GIF, depending on how you say it, and then bouncing 3 days later the biggest Diamondback look of the football offseason so far?
Blake who?
Blake Baker, the defensive coordinator for Missouri.
Mizzou.
Going to LSU.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. For some reason, I was thinking of the NFL. I'm like, who the hell is Blake? I'm like, it's Buddha Baker. The great Bambi.
I'm glad you
Wimpy
said
deer.
something. Because I had forgotten who the hell he was.
From NFL to NFL. I'm like, wait, what?
I mean, you go where the money is, you go where the opportunity is, and people aren't going to like this answer, right? LSU, despite how great Mizzou of a season they had this year, LSU is more of a name brand than the Missouri Tigers. And so if you have
For now.
They stole Go Tigers, clearly.
Go Tigers. Clearly. So that, to me, and I don't know what the contract was for Blake Baker here at Mizzou, but I would assume that he's getting a little bit more money. His family, his wife played soccer, I believe, at LSU. Family is
from there, yeah.
From that area. It made more sense, I guess, for him. And again, it is LSU versus Missouri. It would be the same if the man left Illinois to go to Michigan or Michigan State even. That's just how it is. The name brand schools, coaches want to be in those environments.
But a parallel move? Like, that's the part
I don't think that's parallel.
Well, I think he got the same job, though.
He got the same job. Was it the same money? If it's the same money.
I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about as far as like his job resume is concerned.
Yeah.
Why would he not wait another year and get a head coach job?
Why would he not go to LSU and have the same opportunity on what some perceive to be a better team?
Yeah, but he's not going to be the head coach. If they have a better team, they're not firing the head coach.
No. They won't fire the head coach. But if he has a team that is an SEC champion or SEC caliber team, championship team, playoff team, and they go further than what he perceives maybe Mizzou could, you're going to get better players at LSU than you will at Missouri.
I'm thinking long term, though.
For now.
Like, I'm thinking long term.
For now.
For my profession, if I was him.
In 5 years, maybe that conversation is different.
It would be greater for my career if I made a bigger difference at a school like Mizzou, who's less apt to have a big-ass program like LSU is supposed to be like one of the big dogs. Yeah. If I go there and Mizzou makes the college playoff and we win a game, again, 2 years in a row, my defense is real good. All of a sudden, it's knocking on the door for head coach jobs. I don't have to wait in line because I just helped this guy, who's my head coach, stay here for another 4 years because I gave him a great defense.
I don't think you would have to wait either way. I think it's going to be the same.
I think if you're Mizzou...
Won't be at LSU, though.
No, won't be at LSU.
If you're so much for the family thing.
Won't be at Mizzou either.
No, I know that.
No.
I wasn't insinuating.
Oh, okay.
At all.
I think if you're Mizzou, you say, if you don't want to be here, get to stepping.
Whoa.
Sure. Yeah, you are working your way
left,
to
Anthony.
have.
We don't want you anyways.
You're working your way to having that conversation with
It's
people.
like, I resign. No, you're fired. Get out.
I already sent in my.
Yeah, it's giving me real Kevin Durant energy.
Oh,
wow.
hey,
wow.
Why did KD get a shot here? What did he do?
Because he lost to a team and then joined them.
He did.
They didn't lose. They did lose to this
Yeah,
team.
they did.
They did.
And why is that? It's because the defense couldn't hold him in the fourth quarter. You can't beat him,
All
join
part
him.
of his plan.
And he made up a burner account and torched his former fan base.
There's the shot at KD. There it is.
Question number 3.
I think we're on question number 3.
Sure.
From Thanks Dad, we were talking about Miles Mikolas and what he had to say about Wilson Contreras, that whole situation. Thanks Dad's question is, how do you call a pitch they don't have with PitchCom? Isn't it just not programmed in?
No idea. I don't know how PitchCom works.
I have no clue.
I'm going to go buy one. We're going to start doing that here. When I want a certain segment, I'm going to have Anthony wear the hat. And I'm going to
Blues. Coming up next.
Anthony be shaking it off. He'd be like, no, I want to talk Falcons.
But he throws in a soccer segment. We're like, oh, we don't have that in our repertoire.
Anthony called the pitch we don't have.
Coming up next, we'll talk about soccer. We don't have anything on that. Oh, it's funny all the way around, huh? What's the question?
Let's just move on.
Question number 4.
From the 618, the wife and I traveled to Carolina over the weekend to see Jamie Rivers at his finest. Nice. My question is, which stadium/arena was your favorite to visit or to play in?
Oh, wow. So I never had a bad game in L.A. or New York. I'll tell you that much.
You couldn't afford to.
Why? It wasn't good for business. I'll just be honest. L.A. was awesome because we played at the Great Western Forum for most of my career, and they had the back stairwell where there's a little doorway. It looks like nothing, and it leads all the way up to this place called the Forum Club, where all the Hollywood celebrities would hang out. Anybody who was like a rock star, an actor, anybody, that was the Forum Club up there, all the big wigs. They would just come sauntering down, and they'd be in your locker room because it was right across the hall, the door to get to this. So they'd come in. We'd have guys and girls sitting around and outside the locker room, of course, Carey.
Okay.
So it was like, okay, if you had a terrible game, nobody wanted to talk to you.
Right.
Nobody wanted to have a beer with you. Like, that guy sucks. So you try to have a good game.
He was a -3 tonight.
Yeah.
To hell with that guy.
And MSG, for whatever reason, I just loved it. I'd step on the ice and be like, look at this place, man. There's no way I can play bad in this building and look at myself in the mirror. And so even if I had a couple of bad shifts, I'd be like, no, I need to go run somebody now. I need to turn this thing around quickly. Nice. So those are 2 buildings that I loved playing in for sure.
What was one of the rooms at MSG? Was it the green room? Is that where all the players went? Is that what it was called?
Inside MSG?
Yes.
Well, I never went to the green room. We always went over to the China Club right after.
Okay.
That place was bumping. That was kind of like the thing after Studio 54 had just kind of closed down.
So no visiting players could go into the green room? Was that more of just a Ranger thing?
I don't know. I think it's probably a Ranger thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't end up in there once in my career, which means it probably wasn't available. Just saying. Carey, what about you?
Well, I like playing. We played a game here. And for me, that was awesome. Just being able to have all of my family and friends here. I never got to play in Lambeau Field, which I really wanted to play there and experience that. College, it was Michigan and Ohio State.
Oh, man,
those are
big
great.
house.
Penn State, too, was awesome. They had one of those whiteouts. There's 100,000 people in white shirts screaming at night. It's absurd. But, yeah, those were some pretty good environments.
Nice. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We've got a returning Gauntlet contestant.
Gosh darn it.
Nice work, Carey.
Thanks.
Those were tough, though.
It's all right, Carey. I forgive you.
Yeah, we all do. We all forgive you.
Yeah, because we
You'll be
haven't
fine.
played yet. So.
Gauntlet next on 101 ESPN.
4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you master the gauntlet?
Brought to you by Master, your hometown source for business communications for more than 30 years. Visit masstour.com.
All right, 4:02. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Time for the Gauntlet here in the Fast Lane. We have Devin back for round 2 of the Gauntlet. He beat Carey yesterday in hockey. It's kind of a rough one for all parties involved.
Yep.
But Devin is back again for round 2. Devin, would you, first of all, how are you? Everything good?
I'm doing fantastic.
It's Droid.
I hear you guys.
It's Droid from the Snake Pit, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, how are you guys doing today?
We're doing great.
well.
We're doing great. So, after beating Carey yesterday, would you like to take on Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsh, or me today?
I'm taking on Jamie Rivers.
Yeah.
Son of a... Well, you know what? I
go.
hope we get hockey today. I heard you in hockey yesterday. I heard about you hockey yesterday. Bring it on, Donkey
I'm
Kong.
hoping the odds are in my favor. I'm praying for that wheel today. So,
All right, buddy. Good luck, man.
good luck.
All right, Jamie's going to make his way into the cone of silence. Devin, go ahead. Tell Marsh to spin the wheel.
Spin that wheel, Marsh.
All right, you said
Anything
it.
but hockey.
Yeah, you said anything but hockey yesterday, I think, right?
Yep.
Okay, let's see what we got here. You're okay. It's not going to be hockey. It will be
Random trivia.
Okay, random.
Do it. Let's do it.
Random trivia. Fun fact, Jamie, when we used to write all the questions, Jamie would come up with the random questions at one point.
Does he hate random?
No, he doesn't
Who hates
hate it.
random?
We all do,
Okay.
except for him, I think. All right.
Do I have one?
Do we have all the launch codes? There we go.
Yes.
All right. All right, Devin, here we go. Who wrote the original version of I Shot the Sheriff, releasing the song in 1973 with his band, The Wailers?
Oh, boy. I should know this. I listen to rock music a little bit. Oh, I think I'm going to need the options, though.
Okay. Jimi Hendrix, Bob Marley, or Jim Morrison?
Oh. Let's go Jim Harrison?
Jim Morrison.
Jim Morrison.
Yeah, Jimi Hendrix,
go.
Bob Marley, or Jim Morrison?
Was it Jimi Hendrix? Ooh. Let's go it was Harrison?
Morrison.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
With that one. Jim Morrison.
Jim Morrison, okay.
All right. What college is, excuse me, what college has captured the most national championships in the sport of men's lacrosse?
Oh, my.
It's random.
Yeah. Oh, boy. It's probably somewhere up there in the Northeast would be my guess. 'Cause that's kind of popular up there. Let's take those options.
Is it Syracuse, Johns Hopkins, or Duke?
Let's go Syracuse. Final answer.
Question number 3. Name the longtime meteorologist on The Today Show whose catchphrase was, "Here's what's happening in your world this morning."
Oh my God, I know this guy. I should know this guy. It's Al. It's Al. Al, what's his last name? Oh. Let's go with the options. I don't remember his last name.
Options are Greg Kinnear, Jay Abrams, or Willard Scott.
Oh, that's okay. I'm thinking of the current guy.
Were you thinking of Al Roker? Good morning, America.
Yeah, Al Roker is who I was thinking of. Yeah. Could you say the names again?
Greg Kinnear, Jay Abrams, or Willard Scott.
Jay Abrams sounds kind of familiar. Let's just roll Jay Abrams. Final answer.
All right, Devin, question 4. The St. Louis Zoo's own Raja will soon be relocating to Ohio for breeding purposes. What type of mammal is Raja?
An elephant. Final answer.
All right. Let's bring back Jamie. How you feeling, Devin?
Oh, those were pretty tough. It's pretty tough.
You had 2 tough ones here. All right. Jamie's back from the cone of silence. Jamie, how was it?
It was actually not too bad today. We had Mike Ryder. We had DJ Piddles was in there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we had a good discussion. And now Tommy Mattern joined the fray.
Oh,
nice.
Oh,
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys weren't invited. Sorry.
Well, we're in here taking care of business.
How'd my guy Droid here do?
Tell him, Marshy.
You better pack a lunch, Jamie.
Yeah, buddy.
All right.
All right. Your category today is random. Random trivia. Are you ready?
No.
Question number 1. Are you going to the mall later? No, I'm not. Keep spelling, mister. Who wrote the original version of I Shot the Sheriff, releasing the song in 1973 with his band, The Wailers?
Oh, Bob Marley. Final answer.
Alrighty.
I did not shoot
I didn't fit the deputy.
That's a very good song. What college has captured the most national championships in the sport of men's lacrosse?
Oh, yeah. Of course.
that one.
Yeah. I mean, I have a couple of ideas. Give me the options, please.
Syracuse.
That's one.
Johns Hopkins.
Yep.
Duke.
I'm going Syracuse. Final answer.
Question number 3. Name the longtime meteorologist on the Today Show whose catchphrase was, "Here's what's happening in your world this morning."
What show?
The Today Show.
Was that? Oh, Al Roker or Willard Scott? Finkel and Einhorn. I'm going to go Willard Scott. Final answer. I think the other one was Good Morning America. Final answer. I said it. You don't have to look at me like that.
Question number 4.
God, you're staring down your nose at me.
The St. Louis Zones. It certainly is. Hey, Jamie, look at me. Look at me. You would know.
Yeah, he would.
The St. Louis Zoo Zone Raja will soon be relocating to Ohio for breeding purposes. What type of mammal is Raja?
Raja. Oh, yeah. It's a pink panda, isn't it? No, I'm just joking. Give me the options, please.
Elephant, snow leopard, African lion.
Raja. So we got elephant, snow leopard, or a what?
African lion.
Is there a different kind? I mean, I'm just asking.
Good question.
I didn't know they were in Maine. You know?
I mean,
they're at the
a lot of different,
you know?
a lot of breeders.
Raja.
So I don't know what they're doing.
So Raja to me sounds like an Indian type name, and there are a lot of elephants in that area. So I'll go with elephant. Final answer.
All right.
I'm exhausted now.
Let's go over this. What college has captured the most national championships in the sport of men's lacrosse? Devin, with the options, you said Syracuse. Jamie, you also went with the orange. Correct answer is
Syracuse.
Syracuse. 1-1 tie between Jamie and Devin.
Nice job.
The St. Louis Zoo's own Raja will soon be relocating to Ohio for breeding purposes. What type of mammal is Raja? Jamie, you went with elephant. Devin, you went with elephant. Correct answer is
It's an elephant.
but Devin did not need the
shut
options.
up. How did you know that?
He knows his mammals. That's why.
Hang around the zoo all the time.
Wild guess.
3-2. 3-2 in favor of Devin. Who wrote the original version of I Shot the Sheriff, releasing the song in 1973 with his band, The Wailers? Devin, you said Jim Harrison. But you meant Jim Morrison. We clarified with you. You went with Jim Morrison.
Does it matter?
Jamie, you went with Bob Marley. Correct answer is?
It is Bob Marley.
It is Bob Marley. Jamie didn't need the options on that one.
No woman, no cry, Troy.
No woman, no cry.
Name the longtime meteorologist on the Today Show whose catchphrase was, "Here's what's happening in your world this morning." Devin, you went Jay Abrams. Jamie, you went Willard Scott. Correct answer is
It is Willard Scott.
Devin.
You have chosen poorly.
You lose. Not today.
Devin, Jamie swept the board. He got every question right in one way, shape, or form. Sorry, man.
It's tough. I wish I listened to more Bob Marley music.
Yes, you do.
That's all right. All right. Hey, thanks for listening. Thanks for checking us out in the snake pit, and we appreciate you playing, man.
Yeah, no problem. Love you guys. I'm here every single day.
Excellent.
Thanks, buddy. We appreciate it, man.
Thanks, Droid.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
All right. See you,
Have a good
buddy.
one.
You
Bye.
too. Jamie, nice job, man. Very impressive.
Nice.
You broke it down perfectly. Well done, kid.
Thank you.
All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Where would you put Snuggerud long term? Well, now and long term when it comes to the Blues. That's next on 101 ESPN. Last night on 101 ESPN, Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter.
101 ESPN breaking news alert.
This one shocked everybody in the room here.
Yeah, my heart dropped because I can't believe it.
This is one of those where you're like, wait, what? And then
never thought you'd see the day.
Let's just wait and see. Nope. And then all the media outlets are reporting it. So here's just one from ESPN's Chris Lowe. Nick Saban, who won 6 national titles at Alabama, is retiring.
Wow.
I'm shocked by this. I really am. I did not. We just had this conversation, and we all said, at least Jamie and I did. I think, Carey, you were with us too. He's a football lifer. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. In fact, we said yesterday that he's at least 3 years, and you scoffed him, and you're like, 3? He's probably got
6.
5. Yeah,
5, 6.
What's crazy to me is I watched him on the Pat McAfee show just a couple of days ago, and he's still talking about football and he's talking shop. Mm-hmm. And now he's just retiring.
He has been more vocal about the transfer portal over the last couple of years. I mean, really vocal. He's always angling for something. He's a master at using the media. But it has seemed a little bit more, he's been more exasperated talking about the transfer portal, which is one of the reasons I think, quite frankly, on top of the NCAA investigations and whatnot, that Jim Harbaugh will leave Michigan. But with Saban seemed to be tiring of the transfer portal, and now he's stepping away. But you talk about one of the best to ever do it, man.
So, what does this mean, though? Now, because, you look at the
going to Seattle.
Seahawks. Imagine. No, but you look at the landscape of college football, and you talk about some of the big dogs right now. So Michigan and Alabama could potentially be looking for head coaches. Well, Alabama for sure is looking for a head coach.
Yeah.
Whether they promote from within or they go get somebody else or whatever. I feel... And this is a whole separate question. I feel like Alabama has to go find, the right person for that job. You can't just slide in a 28-year-old or a 31-year-old and be like, you know what? He's really smart. He's got a great football mind.
No.
That program will fall apart unless you have somebody with a name that can come in there and keep this thing going.
Well-respected veteran guy. I agree.
Now the same could be said about Michigan if Harbaugh leaves. Mm-hmm. Who are the coaches, guys? Let's throw out some names.
You talking about that could be potentially going there?
Yeah.
I have no clue.
Were you about to say Kirby Smart?
No. I thought you were saying Kirby, who's left in college football is what I'm saying.
Oh, gotcha.
Kirby Smart's still left, obviously. I don't know who leaves. I mean, you're looking at some of the programs. You got a text here saying Dan Lanning from Oregon. I don't think Dan Lanning leaves Oregon. Oregon is a different place, man. It's a special place, and they have things that other places do not have. Mm-hmm. And the amount of money.
Great uniforms.
Great. I mean, you can't get.
Facilities.
Great facilities. Everything you want there is there. I don't know. I don't know. This is going to be an interesting.
Who could step in?
Dabo Swinney.
So, Dabo is
I could see
think
Dabo
kind of ran his course with his response to things and how he handles things. I think people kind of got tired of that. Lane Kiffin is a name that just
Lane Kiffin
popped up.
Oh wow!
That's a name I could see. He's a mercenary
at Bama,
and he
is a mercenary.
He's gonna go where the best situation for Lane Kiffin is.
So
every time.
Dabo. The reason why I bring up Dabo is he played at Alabama. He's from Alabama. Played there. Maybe he's tired of the Clemson thing. He goes to Alabama.
I just don't see Dabo as an Alabama guy. I don't see the fan base.
He literally played there.
I don't see the fan base wrapping their arms around him. Am I crazy?
I don't think. Yeah, no, I don't. I agree with that. I don't see him as an Alabama guy.
They're gonna wrap their arms around Lane Kiffin, but not Dabo Swinney.
Lane Kiffin is the most likable, hateable person in the world.
That's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it.
We got a text from the 314. What about Coach Prime?
Oh, no, he ain't ready for that.
They do those commercials together.
Yep.
They do. I don't know if that qualifies them.
No.
Here's the thing. Bama, it's Prime. You know those commercials I do with Saban, right? I'm your guy.
Well, the only thing Deion is missing is an offensive line. That's the people talk as much as they wanted to talk about. They didn't like his charisma, his bravado. The only thing that they were missing, they had a good team. They just didn't have the people up front. And he said that. He said that when he was at Jackson State. We can't compete with some of these other programs because we don't have enough people up front to compete with those teams. And he didn't have that at Colorado last season. So
The other, it's going to be interesting. I mean, look, spinning it forward, of course, like who's going to coach there? That's going to be fascinating to watch. The other thing, too, guys, is we are reaching the end of an era in football.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nick Saban, again, if you're just joining us, Nick Saban is retiring after winning 6 national championships with Alabama. He also won one with LSU. Bill Belichick might be at the end of his road with the Patriots.
Maybe he's not coaching.
No chance.
Tom Brady.
Can you imagine with college kids? They'd be horrified.
Oh, man. Tom Brady retired a year ago. We are reaching an end of great football minds or great football players, which is kind of fascinating too.
This is fun. Like I think it's time, for a fresh new look on things. You're going to have the college football playoff with the expansion. So you won't have, just having those teams that are, planting their flag every single year saying we are national champions or playing for the national championship, having it more open, I believe that's what the transfer portal has allowed for as well. Maybe some more new blood gets into these games and gets an opportunity. And some new coaches, some new faces, some new people.
I do think, though, that they're going Alabama can have their pick of the litter. They really can.
Oh, of course
but
they can.
Things will shift now. Because Nick Saban is Alabama.
But because of Nick Saban.
How much has that team changed now? How many players are like, hey, transfer portal, remember me?
Maybe. But if you're Alabama, because of Nick Saban, you can also go to. I throw out Dabo Swinney, who's been with Clemson for a long time. That doesn't sound crazy. I could see him leaving Clemson to go to Bama.
I don't know that
they're going to have.
Want him.
You wouldn't want Dabo Swinney?
I would.
If you paid attention, Dabo, I
taking
feel
your
like,
personal feelings aside.
No, but I think that matters. It matters heavily because of the kids that you are trying to recruit. If he has a mindset, you're not going to get. I think that's part of the reason why Clemson is starting to tail off because when you
You're talking about the transfer portal stuff, like his opinions,
and it's some other things that Dabo has kind of been upfront about that kind of has irked some people.
But Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence, it's not like the guy can't recruit.
I agree.
There's a lot of Clemson players in the NFL.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm just throwing out one name.
Would an NFL coach leave a team to go take over Bama?
No. Leave a team? No.
Leave.
If you just got fired,
I'm talking about leaving.
No.
What do you think, Carey?
Not leave, no. Okay. Mike Tomlin said it last year when they were talking about him going to USC. He's like, what?
Who's that?
Mike Tomlin.
Oh, yeah.
Like, why the hell would I leave Pittsburgh to go to
No, but I'm talking
USC.
about a lesser coach. Like, who would I pick here that is just kind of like, they're fine. They're an NFL coach, but they're fine, but they could have a massive presence at Alabama. Maybe the NFL life is treating them kind of mid, and they're like,
I'm looking around. I'm trying to think.
I got a name.
Go ahead.
No way that this guy gets hired by Alabama. But what about Cliff Kingsbury? Going back to college football.
There's no way.
Exactly.
But it is. Marsh, I'll give you this.
He's had some Heisman winners in college football.
Yeah,
he has.
I would say no.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way he's going to Bama.
No
I don't
shot.
think there's any way that Bama would want him. Now, he's getting some OC looks from like the Bears I saw. I could see him being a coordinator, but I don't think
this is going to be intriguing.
Yeah.
I have no idea whatsoever who it could be or who it would be.
Yeah, I'm looking through just quickly looking through a lot of the names right now in college football.
So let's say you're an NFL coach and let's say you're Mike Vrabel. That name seems for me, that's just a name that I'm picking. And you made X amount of dollars in the NFL. Are you taking a pay cut or are you getting a raise?
I think Nick Saban was getting like $12 million a year, wasn't he?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he was making more, I believe, than Mike Vrabel.
No, that's Nick Saban.
He's not going to make.
That's right.
Right. So it'll probably be comparable, maybe $2 to $3 million.
Comparable with a less volatile spot too, because most of the time those colleges keep guys for a while.
Not really.
Well, they do.
Yeah.
If you do a good job, those college coaches, man, that is like part of the retirement fund.
Yeah, they do. They stay around.
What about James Franklin?
No. I don't think so. Yeah, he hasn't at Penn State. He hasn't won the big games at Penn State.
He's well respected. I'm just going with like well respected.
Lane Kiffin
Somebody that's a
is probably
name.
the first call that they make. One of the first calls. He's coached there. He understands the program. And he has a huge respect. Lane Kiffin comes off as a person that doesn't have a lot of respect for a lot of things, but I think he had a lot of respect for Bama. And I don't know that he doesn't, but he just comes off that way.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be fascinating to watch.
It is.
If he wasn't at Texas, Steve Sarkisian would make a lot of sense too. He was the OC at Alabama for a while, won a national championship there. He's got things humming right now at Texas.
But it's Bama. That's just what I just explained. Just
but they're Texas. They're Texas. Absolutely.
It's Alabama.
But you're only saying that because of Saban.
Yeah.
No,
Alabama
I'm
wasn't...
saying that because of what they've done over the last 10 to 15 years.
Carey.
Texas just got good last two seasons. So if
Bear Bryant, long pause. I mean, a long ass pause.
Whoa. Mac Brown. Long ass time between that as well.
Not as long as Bear Bryant to Nick Saban. Alabama was nothing until Nick Saban. It was nothing after Bear Bryant. It was nothing until Nick Saban got there. I think Texas is still a bigger program.
Reporting here from The Score, which is the Canadian version of like ESPN up there.
And it might brands in Canada.
No, but just saying that they are reporting that the front runner right now is Dan Lanning
of Oregon. Wow. Okay. Well, the text line. Give credit to the text line.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know.
He's a hell of a coach, guys. Let's be honest. He's a great coach.
He is.
What's his record against Washington?
Well,
the last
0-2.
0-2 this year.
I
hope Alabama stinks. I hope they don't recover from this. And I hope Mizzou just lays one on them next year.
You should be jumping up and down.
Let's say higher drink after Marsh just said that.
Can you imagine? No chance.
No.
No offense, Frank.
I wouldn't think so. All right, so that's the breaking news. Nick Saban retiring from Alabama. I'm sure we'll have plenty, to talk about regarding the Alabama job, and again, whether or not Alabama stays Alabama. We didn't get into the
Snuggerud.
move
The state, Anthony.
Yeah, that's not what I meant.
I guess they could, but that'd take a lot of paperwork.
Jamie, I could see your confusion on that. That wasn't my point.
Anthony, you're getting a lot of crap here on the text line. Mm-hmm. Gene Stallings, ever heard of him?
Oh yeah, Gene Stallings. Did he?
He won a national championship.
Hello.
How do you overlook that guy, Anthony? What the hell's wrong with you?
I'm sorry. You're right.
Hello.
And he's out of the 3 stars race.
I apologize.
All it takes is one thing.
My bad. He had that great run for 6 years there in the 90s. All right, it's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We'll get into the Snuggerud conversation next.
Fellas, it's Carey, and if you are a man that is struggling with going to the restroom, waking up in the middle of the night, just can't quite get it going, you need to reach out to my friends at Mint STL. That's the Midwest Institute for Non-Surgical Therapy. Men the age of 60 or over, it's a prevalent condition. It could be benign prostatic hyperplasia, and it is a prostate small gland that sits below the bladder that is engulfing the urethra, and it troubles you to use the restroom. You're having a hard time going, and Mint STL has the solution, and that solution is done by my great friend Dr. Akinwande. He can get you done and get you taken together, get you together with the prostate artery embolization. It's a groundbreaking, minimally invasive procedure that treats BPH. This procedure will literally get you going again, and over a 6-month period, the prostate will reduce in size by about 40%. It's covered by most insurances. Reach out to Mint STL today if you're having trouble going. Get going well with Mint STL. MINTSTL.com. that's MINTSTL.com, and tell them Carey sent you.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues will be back in action tomorrow against the New York Rangers. They lost last night to the Florida Panthers by a final score of 5-1. So once again, Blues Rangers tomorrow night. Pregame at 6. Puck drop is at 7. We talked earlier today with Jeremy Rutherford of The Athletic. If you missed that interview, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Head to the podcast page and you can find it there. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We just got done talking about Nick Saban, who won 6 titles at Alabama. He is retiring, sources told ESPN's Chris Lowe today. Once again, Nick Saban retiring from the head coaching gig at Alabama. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at Londoff.com and LondoffAutoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
It's a fast lane on 101 ESPN. Before we get into the Jimmy Snuggerud conversation, wanted to read off one of the texts because we appreciate...
Teach me how to snuggie.
You guys done?
No, maybe not. Go ahead.
Want to get to one of our listeners here.
Anthony's angry.
No, I'm not angry. No, I'm not angry one bit. Not one bit. Air Comfort Service tax line 314-399-9646. Marsh, you read it off. You were going to read off a text from the 314.
Yes, so we got a text from the 314, like you just mentioned. Everyone on the show seems like a really nice guy, but it would be so nice if we had somebody on here that was actually from St. Louis.
Marsh, where are you from?
I am from St. Louis.
Carey, where are you from?
I'm from St. Louis as well.
Jamie, how long have you lived in St. Louis?
31 years.
Okay. I've lived here since 2010.
14.
My wife, 14, thank you. Yeah, I was searching for the math on that one. You got me. My wife's from St. Louis. My kids are from St. Louis. Yeah. Not in this instance.
Not this one, no.
Yeah, wife is from St. Louis. Kids are from St. Louis. I pay taxes in St. Louis. I don't know what to tell you. Carey's from here. Marsh is from here.
The text said
50% of the show is from here.
Some of you guys were from here.
Jamie has literally bled for your city.
You keep the Cardinals accountable.
I hold the Cardinals.
That's your job.
Yeah, there's nothing that Jamie nor I can do. That Jamie was born in Canada and I was born in parts unknown. Okay, I don't know what to tell you. So,
sorry about
but
that.
we do appreciate you. And we'll continue to try to be nice guys.
People are saying,
I
don't count.
Now I'm angry. You're telling me Marsh doesn't count.
I kind of like him now.
Marsh, you sit down.
See ya.
Hold on. No, Marsh.
I'll run the board.
No, Jamie, first of all, definitely not. We don't need you pushing buttons. And Marsh, we lose 50% of the St. Louis thing here if you leave. So, all right. Jimmy Snuggerud.
All right, I'm back.
So, PK and Ferrario had the question. They do their questions and answers, and they did this yesterday, and they got a question about Jimmy Snuggerud. Want to play this? And
this reminded me of Big Daddy, where he looks at the guy. He doesn't count. He can't even read.
It's not his fault he can't read. All right, here's PK and Ferrario yesterday.
From the 636, Alex, if Jimmy Snuggerud was in the NHL right now, where do you think he would fit into the Blues lineup?
With Thomas and Buchnevich. I think if he was here, it would be Snuggerud with Thomas and Buch, Kyrou with Shen and Neighbors. I'm sure you started off, too, where it's a little bit slower. Like, I'm probably too aggressive with that, putting them up there. I'm sure you do start it with a Shen or a Hayes, and you just get him, you let his feet get wet a little bit before you throw him out there in the best on best. But by the time you get to next year, you got to be at the point where you look at it and you say Snuggerud needs to be playing with Robert Thomas, because you got to have that offense on the ice, and it gives you the opportunity to move Jordan Kyrou down and try and get some advantages that way.
I mean, it's also possible that they move Buchnevich down. It's possible they say Kyrou, Thomas, and Snuggerud.
Oh, that's scary.
I mean, if we're going to talk about Thomas as a Selke Trophy winner.
But you also have to give credit to his line mates, too. Yes, he's a Selke Trophy winner, but Buchnevich, you talk about it all the time. He's one of the best.
Maybe I want him on a line with Kevin Hayes.
I would prefer not, sir.
I think you're wasting his talents by putting him down there right now.
I would say best on best is important.
I agree. I don't know that you're going to get the best out of Jordan Kyrou if you put him on one of those lines either.
Jamie.
Yeah.
Lots to lots to unpack there. What are your thoughts on some of the things that BK and Ferrari were saying? And I think ultimately, as you push the conversation forward, where does Jimmy Snuggerud best fit?
Yeah, that's kind of where I want to focus the most is where I feel like Jimmy Snuggerud fits in. And look, Alex and BK, Jimmy Snuggerud has a bright future ahead of him. He absolutely ruled at the World Junior Championship. He went back to Minnesota and scored 5 goals in 2 games. He had 2 goals and a hat trick the next game. That's college and that's junior. He hasn't played at the American Hockey League level yet. He hasn't played at the NHL level yet. Mm-hmm. Very few players step in and play right away. And, Jimmy Snuggerud was a first-round pick, but he wasn't a top 5 pick. It's not like you picked up Connor Bedard and you just drop him out there on the ice and he goes out and scores goals because he's that good. So I would be patient with the young man. I don't think I would drop him on Robert Thomas's line right away. But I guess where I have more of an issue with the way it went down there is they're demoting guys immediately for a guy who hasn't done anything. Jimmy Snuggerud, play alongside Robert Thomas, and we'll drop Kyrou or Buchnevich. So let me just go over some things. So Jordan Kyrou had 37 goals last year, 27 goals the year before. He had 75 points and 73 points. That was 21-22, 75 points, 22-23, 73 points. And you're dropping him. He's proven. In the NHL, he's proven he can play because before that he had 14 goals, 35 points in 55 games. He's been here. He started playing NHL games in 2018, 2019, and it's now 2024. Do the math. That's 5, 6. This is, I believe, his 5th season. Took him 5 years, 4 years last year to be that guy. So why do we think that Jimmy Snuggerud out of college is just going to drop in and score 37 goals?
How hard is it because you talked about it all the time, when you're playing on that first line, you're not just on that first line and you're playing against first line players as well. So how much of a transition is the defensive side of it? You expect him to score goals, but will he be lacking on the defensive end trying to stop some of those top line players?
Well, for sure. So let's just go back again. Let me answer part of your question first. One, I see Jimmy Snuggerud being able to contribute immediately on a power play somewhere. He has an NHL shot. He's a goal scorer. He's a heck of a player. But to drop him in on the first line, whether you demote Buchnevich or Kyrou in this situation, like you're getting the toughest matchups,
right,
night in and night out. So that time and space that you have at the World Juniors, that time and space that you have at the collegiate level, like shrink that to like next to nothing. CD, you and I were going over a goal that was scored last night. And the timing and the space.
Beautiful.
It was beautiful, but it was like you had so precise to score a goal. Where if it was 1 inch in the wrong direction, it doesn't happen.
Right.
So that's what I'm talking about when it takes time to figure out the NHL and to figure out how you're going to score goals. And if we want to look at playing a 200-foot game, Robert Thomas right now, we've talked about him being a Selke Trophy candidate. Like he's got the numbers to support it. Robert Thomas, this is his 6th season as a Blue. And he started by playing right wing. He played 70 games his first year. He played right wing with Maroon and Bozak, scored 9 goals, had 33 points in his first year. Fast forward, so 1, 2, 3. In his 4th year is finally where it clicked for Robert Thomas. 77 points in 72 games. His 4th year. So again, what makes us think that Jimmy Snuggerud or Dalibor Dvorsky or any of these guys are just going to step in and score 70 points?
Right. I wanted to know
we want them to.
If Snuggerud is,
that's our expectation
every time. If Snuggerud is here, who is no longer in that top 9? Is it easy, as simple as saying Verona because of?
Yeah, well, Verona's going to be gone anyways. His contract is up at the end of this season, and I don't see the Blues extending him. Okay. You also have Kasperi Kapanen, whose contract comes to an end at the end of this season. I like Kasperi Kapanen. Do I like him enough to impede the progress of a young talent? Probably not. But you'll figure it out.
Right.
I just don't see, in a perfect world, I don't see why you'd have to force Jimmy Snuggerud into the top line. And I know Doug Armstrong on record saying that, he envisions him playing with Robert Thomas. Yeah, one day.
Yeah.
One day. But let's get him away from the crazy matchups right away. Let's put him with a good centerman, maybe a Braden Shen.
Mm-hmm.
So when Alex talks about Braden Shen or one of those, I don't hate the idea. You got Braden Shen, who's got a little toughness too, because Jimmy Snuggerud is going to be tested. He's going to be tested by these guys physically. It's going to be a grind for him. He's not the fastest skater, so it's not like he's just going to be able to stay out of trouble all the time.
Right.
So why not put him with a couple of guys who are dependable? Even a Neighbors, a Shen, and a Snuggerud, or a Saad, a Shen, and a Snuggerud. Who knows, right? I think Saad, for me, preferably as a third liner.
Right.
So you have Neighbors, Shen, Snuggerud, you give him a shot there. If it doesn't work, you drop Snuggerud down, play with Hayes and Saad. Two pretty dependable guys. Get him the puck, and then he gets his power play touches. Yeah. I don't like the idea when you're not a struggling team. So the Blues, you can call them struggling if you want. I'm talking about bottom dwellers. When you're a bottom dweller, you can just put the stars and just go ahead, kids. You're 18.
Figure it out.
Figure it out. It doesn't matter.
We're going to lose anyways.
We don't care.
The variable has completely changed there.
Yeah, we don't care. Go get your points. Go figure it out. When you play on a good team, like it's slower for the player to reach that success, which is sometimes frustrating, but it's better for the player overall to be a part of a team that has solid foundation, good core, good defense, all that stuff, so that you learn how to play in the NHL the right way. And I think that as much as people get aggravated with Jordan Kyrou, Jordan Kyrou has proven that he can score at least a point a game in the NHL, which is very valuable to clubs. So if you don't want him on this club, fine, whatever. This is not a Jordan pro Kyrou conversation. It's just a simple fact that he's doing something that's not easy to do. And then you look at Robert Thomas. We talked about the amount of years it took him to get to where he is now. And then if we go to Pavel Buchnevich really quickly, Buch, it took him 6, almost 6 seasons to get to where he is now. Or to where he was in 21-22, where he had 76 points in 73 games. Like, it takes a while to become a go-to guy in the NHL. And I like the future of Jimmy Snuggerud. I can't wait for him to wear a blue note, and I can't wait for him to be going bar down on the power play, that one-timer spot, because, boy, we need him. We could use him right now on that power play. But let's let him get into the NHL and figure things out before we put him up in the top line.
I did want to ask you, who would be the next one after Snuggerud? Is it Dvorsky?
Yeah.
Bulldog and Dean not quite there just yet. And what are they looking like?
Well, they're playing pretty well down there. Now, Bolduc was playing really well with Verona. Mm-hmm. And for obvious reasons, Jacob Verona is a talented guy, especially at the American Hockey League level. He's got a little more talent than those guys do. Mm-hmm. But I just think that Dalibor Dvorsky has a better NHL ready game. He's a big dude, left-handed shot, plays the middle of the ice. Like, he's a guy that you can put out there. He'll be in your top 9 when he comes here. Mm-hmm. Now, who you move out of the way to put him in that spot, I don't know. But to me, the two readiest guys are Snuggerud and Dvorsky, and then Bolduc still has has some work to do to round out his game to where he can play on a regular shift. And Zach Dean is more of a third, fourth line type player. So who knows where he fits in. Mm-hmm. But he is, he's working hard to try and get his opportunity.
It's Fastlane on 101 at ESPN. If you're just joining us, we talked about the Nick Saban situation. He's retiring from football. He's retiring from Alabama. He's done. He's done. I would imagine he's done. Yeah. So Nick Saban stepping away from his coaching career, man. What an incredible run he had. We got into some of the thoughts from earlier. We'll spend a couple more minutes talking about what else we're hearing when it comes to Nick Saban, and boy, who steps into that role next on 101 ESPN.
That guy doesn't count. He can't even weed.
If you've got a vehicle that you are looking to spice up a little bit, Pure Performance is the place to go. They are your one-stop shop when it comes to aftermarket accessories. They have so many unbelievable options for you, whether it is the big off-road tires, whether it's the wheels, maybe it's a lift kit, maybe it's a leveling kit. You've got the fender flares, so many Jeep accessories as well, amazing amount of Bronco accessories. And it could be a pickup truck, an SUV. It could even be a minivan. So any vehicle you have, Pure Performance can make it look really, really good. And it's not just the outside either. Under the hood, they've got chip programmers, they've got cold air intakes, they've got exhaust systems, unbelievable stuff. And all you have to do is go by and visit them. 25,000 square foot facility right there in St. Peter's. When you get in there, ask for Shelby. Tell her Jamie Rivers sent you in. She's going to ask you what kind of vehicle you've got, what you're looking to do, and what your budget is. Pure Performance is going to work within your budget and make sure that you're satisfied, not just with the product, but with the price as well. And the technicians in back, they do an incredible job. And when you roll up and you pick up your truck or your car or your vehicle, whatever it is, you're going to be thrilled. You're going to love it. So please stop by in person, but if not, get there online. Visit them at pureperformance.com. That's pure, P-U-R, performance.com.
So there's breaking news about 20 minutes ago from Chris Lowe of ESPN saying that Nick Saban is retiring. He won 6 national championships at Alabama. And immediately, instead of going over all the things that Nick Saban has done throughout his career, we're like, who's next at Alabama? Because we're always,
that's what's
always looking through the
life goes.
The front windshield, boys.
What you did yesterday, if it still looks good to you today, you haven't done much today.
That's true. Great point. Nice job there.
I mean, even if you won a Super Bowl.
Even if. that guy.
What have you done for me lately? Pete Thamel tweeted out, with no likely internal replacements at Alabama, here's a quick projected target list. Dan Lanning at Oregon, Kalen DeBoer, of course, of Washington, Dabo Swinney of Clemson, James Franklin of Penn State, Mike Norvell at Florida State, and Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame. Those would be the names. All come with complications and big buyouts, according to Pete Thamel, as it's difficult to move entrenched coaches. That's going to be a difficult-ish part for Alabama, but it's not like they don't have the money or the resources to get it done.
Yeah, they're gonna find who the best person is for the job, and I don't know. I think. I've spoken to Dan Lanning now. He didn't mention Alabama, but he seemed pretty confident and comfortable in his position at Oregon. And so it didn't seem like much could sway him away from that place because of, like I said, all of the things that Oregon has to offer. But I could be wrong. I don't know.
How much does the college football landscape changing because of the playoffs expanding, how much does that change, too, with a job like Alabama? I mean, if Nick Saban retired a couple of years ago, Alabama, I think, is look, it's still an attractive job, okay? Don't mince words here. But with college football expanding, you're going to have more of a shot now. You're going to get in the dance.
Does.
You're going to get in the dance. If you're the eighth best team in the nation, you have a shot. Hell, if you're the fifth best team now in the nation, you have a shot.
Yeah.
So with an expanded field, I think Alabama, while still a prestigious program, I wonder if some of these guys say, I'm just going to stay where I'm at, such as a Dan Lanning.
I mean, because I don't want to say it's easier to win. It's still hard. It's easier to get the guys that you need, though, because the transfer portal is seemingly always open, and there's always great players. It's not like it was 10, 15 years ago where you had to hit on the high school recruits, and you had to make sure you develop those young men to be really good football players. Now, you can go get a transfer guy from Vanderbilt who doesn't like his scenario where he is and not winning there, and you can bring him to Alabama because you played against him and he was really good, and now he's going to come to Alabama. And when coming out of high school, Vanderbilt may have been the only option that he had. So there's more options for better players because of the transfer portal, and I think that helps every single team in the country.
I just wonder, are there some coaches that maybe, it sounds crazy, would you turn it down to stay where you're at?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I wonder if you're Dan Lanning at Oregon, you've got resources, you got this thing going in one direction. 5 years ago,
probably
it'd
making
be a
pretty good living.
Yeah, certainly. You know that you can compete in the transfer portal. Like the college, my
your team
point
is already
is
currently a playoff team.
Right.
Yes.
My point is the college football landscape, because of the transfer portal, and now because next year you're going to expand the field, the college football landscape has completely changed.
And here's something else to think about, which we haven't brought up. Oregon is moving to the Big Ten. So it's not like they're out in the Pac-12, out in the wilderness anymore. Right. They are in the Big Ten. They are going to compete against the Michigans, Ohio States, Penn States. And Oregon is coming.
Illinois.
Don't you leave those guys out. The hell you talking about? INI, ILL, INI. We are coming some point.
Absolutely.
Decade.
I believe.
Probably
I believe you when you say that.
I don't worry about it. At some point. The transfer portal is helping everybody, Anthony. What are you talking about? Hell yeah, we're on our way.
Still seems to be missing some teams.
No.
Is it available to everybody?
Yeah. We can. We just
get all teams access to the portal.
A little slower than other programs. Don't worry about us.
Do they know it's there?
Maybe not. They might not.
Do the players know they can choose?
Wait, what's this icon on my computer? I haven't clicked it in 3 years.
They're still figuring some things out there in Champaign. Don't you worry about us.
Hey, it's all good. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. So, Nick Saban is retired. Breaking news, like I said, 25 minutes ago or so. Blues last night followed the Panthers. Can the Blues truly be a playoff contender with an abysmal power play? Absolutely not.
What?
So what do the Blues need to do to fix this power play?
Score.
JR gave us that answer earlier. We'll provide maybe a little bit more detail next on 101 ESPN. 3, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler with Carey Davis and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. The Blues fall to the Panthers last night 5-1. One of the big issues, not just the only thing, but one of the bigger issues is the power play, and that continues to be a problem. JR gave us outstanding notes earlier. He said one of the biggest problems is they're not scoring on the power play. When we asked him, hey, JR, what do your notes say about how you get this thing going in the right direction? He said, and I quote, I won't paraphrase, they need to score.
Who would have thought? I mean, we clearly didn't think that far outside the box.
I mean, analytics would
give that guy the job.
Would go to show you that if they score more,
they usually win.
Yes.
You can go by expected goals, though, right?
Oh, God.
You can do that, absolutely. Yeah. It's expected to go in. It didn't, though. No.
Those don't matter?
Expected goal, or you can just call it a good scoring chance. Just saying.
High-quality scoring chance.
Yeah.
Doesn't always work.
No.
All right.
So, Jamie, you had said something earlier today in the show. In response to Carey, you're like, I don't see this team being, a quality playoff contender without a good power play. And Jamie, you said they won't make the playoffs if.
Well, you said I don't see this team being able to,
make a run.
Make a run. You're like, they won't even make the playoffs.
There's no run to be had.
No run to be had. There's no playoffs in the future if they don't figure this out.
For those that haven't heard, Jamie, your breakdown, I forget who it was. Which coach told you about the special teams, where you are, Scotty Bowman. Go ahead and tell people if they haven't heard it before, Scotty Bowman's thoughts on the special teams and where you need to rank.
Well, he said that anytime you take your ranking in the league on the power play and your ranking in the league on the penalty kill, and if you add those two together and they equal under the number 10, you have a chance to win a cup.
So like 32 plus whatever the penalty kill. It doesn't even matter what the penalty kill is. That
it ain't gonna get there.
32 is not great.
So, and when I was with the Red Wings, I mean, we had top 5, I think, in both of those categories, and the team was a perennial contender. So
we were watching. Jamie had me watching film with him earlier. I was trying to figure some things out, and he showed me the Florida Panthers power play where they scored.
Was it hockey film or?
Yeah, it was hockey film.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
Yeah, much different breakdown.
Don't let him fool you on the other film.
But just the movement. Yeah, thank you. I'm looking forward to that one too.
Yeah, you are.
The movement that other teams have in comparison to the Blues, it's just. It seems to be one of the things that is lacking in this power play, and it for me it's frustrating because again I don't know nearly as much hockey as you do, but when I see other teams capable of doing these things, it begs the question: well, why don't we?
Yeah, there's no doubt. Like watching some of the teams, the way they set up certain plays to happen, and how they go about building the play to where they get to the finish line with an opportunity to score a goal.
Right.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
like there's definitely a plan that's in place, and then there's a certain level of execution that goes along with it. And I've said this for a couple of years now. I find the Blues power play to be stagnant.
Yeah.
To be not very scary. And the reason it's not scary is there's no moving parts. Like every now and then they have a little bit of a rotation. You watch the best power plays in the NHL. Watch some of these teams as they interchange. Watch the Edmonton Oilers. Watch the New York Rangers. Watch all these teams. 5 guys are buzzing around the ice in different directions. The defenseman's down below the goal line at one point. The forwards are up at the blue line. The guy who's on the half wall is now in front of the net. Like, it's a lot to try and keep track of.
Right.
And when I watch the Blues, I find it very stagnant. Like, you know that Robert Thomas is going to be on this side of the ice. Jordan Kyrou is going to be on this side of the ice. They're going to kind of stay on that side of the ice the whole time. The defenseman's going to stay at the top of the blue line the whole time.
Yeah.
And you'll have one guy down low near the net the whole time. And the guy in the middle, he'll go to the front of the net every now and then. You don't have to move.
It's
like,
same,
as a penalty kill, you really don't have to move. You have a slight adjustment here, a slight adjustment there.
You're begging for that if you're on the penalty kill.
Yeah, the biggest nightmare for a player on the penalty kill is moving parts, man.
Yeah.
Moving parts and loose pucks. It's the biggest nightmare because the moving parts can find the loose pucks quickly.
Yeah.
And they outnumber you. So that's why making sure you get pucks to the net with players that are there, and then the motion. So if I'm a forward, or you get that gray area sometimes where the defenseman and the forward don't know who's covering the back door. And that usually happens because there's motion that comes through the middle of the diamond area. Somebody has to take that player. Now, as soon as somebody takes that player, some teams will send a guy back door. So it's like a double layer to where the one guy can bypass both players and hit the guy back door. Well, who has that guy? Well, you got to figure that out. And when it's happening in real time, there's a certain level of communication that has to happen. It lets there be a spot for an error. And that's when you can capitalize and find a guy that's open.
So is that a coaching? It needs to be implemented by the coach, or is that just something naturally that you feel on the power play? You know what? I need to go here because there's a void here, and put pressure on the defense.
So it's a little bit of both, to be honest. Some coaches will build it into their power plays to where they have a lot of movement, and then other power plays just naturally have that talent.
Yeah.
Like you watch the Edmonton Oilers, nothing's planned.
Yeah.
Here's the script. They rip it up. There's no script.
Just go.
We've got McDavid. We've got Draisaitl. We've got Nugent Hopkins. We've got who?
Let's not complicate this.
There's no script.
Yeah.
And when I was with the Red Wings, there was no real script. The only script was a breakout.
Yeah.
Once you get the breakout was get the puck to Datsuk. That's it. What's your breakout? It's that guy right there. Just give him the puck.
Name's Pavel.
Then he goes down the ice and sets up, and then guys just moving around.
Yeah.
You get a feel for what's kind of going on. Now you have some set plays that you certainly have to have in place.
Right.
And right now, if I was the Blues, I wouldn't be going rogue.
Okay.
I wouldn't be like, hey guys, by the way, we'll take those shock collars off. Just go, run around the yard, play,
figure it out.
No, they're not. We're not. I wouldn't be doing that. I'd find a couple of really good structured plays that have movement. Guys in and out of areas, interchanging to where the middle guy, the bumper spot, is set up for a one-timer, but now he rotates quickly down low with the guy who's in front of the net, who's still a left-handed shot. So you still have the one-timer available. Rotate those guys and then send the defenseman backside, who's a left-handed shot.
Right.
Now what happens is they're focusing on these two guys doing the interchange in the middle of the ice, not necessarily picking up the guy who's across ice. Now he'll be available maybe for a one-timer and give you an opportunity.
Yeah.
And if they fade back and cover him, you got the middle of the ice now. And worst case scenario is throw the puck on net.
Right.
This is what I'm talking about. Like, it's just to me, there's got to be more movement and then pucks to the net. And they're just not getting enough of that right now.
Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, Anthony Stalter. If you have a Prove Me Wrong statement, we're going to play Prove Me Wrong next. So send it into the Air Common Service text line at 314-399-9646. Again, Prove Me Wrong next.
Selling your home can be stressful, to say the least, especially right now. The market has been all over the place. Interest rates, all that craziness can make you feel a little bit uneasy about the process. Well, let me help you out. Call Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty. Gloria Lou already has the buyers in her database, and she's got thousands of people that she can direct to your listing. It creates a lot more traffic. Hopefully multiple offers. Multiple offers usually lead to a higher amount of money, and that's good for you, money in your pocket. Now, Gloria, because she has so many people in her database, she offers some great options to the sellers. The one I love the most is guaranteed sales. Who wouldn't love guaranteed sales? All that is Gloria sits down with the seller, and they agree upon the sales price. And then Gloria sells the house for that price, or she buys it herself. And she puts all of this in handwriting so that you know that she's serious, that she means business. So if you're looking to sell your home and you're looking to sell it fast, give Gloria Lou a call. Tell her Jamie Rivers sent you. Her number is 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or you can visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Conditions do apply. Gloria and the seller must agree upon the price and possession date.
Prove me wrong, kids. Prove me wrong.
Time to play Prove Me Wrong here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. This is where you make a statement, and one of us on the law firm of Davis, Rivers, and Stalter will have to defend.
I get my name first this time?
Wow, Anthony changed that around.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Why? It's just so unlike you.
I thought it was Stalter, Rivers, and Davis.
After you do what you did last week to Carey.
Well, you actually should be last, actually.
Carey was threatening to sue the law firm, and I put his name first.
Can't get bothered by the hecklers, man.
The Honorable...
You see that guy in Vegas, that one courtroom he jumped over at the judge? That might happen.
It might.
You have to stay on task.
Could use that guy at Illinois, huh?
Yeah,
Play linebacker.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, my God.
He's not in the portal.
Illinois, dude? That means we got a chance.
All right, the Honorable Judge Marsh is present, and he's ready to go.
All right, I'll try and give you guys a softball with this one, this first one. From the 918, prove me wrong. The Blues would score a power play goal on CD, Rivers, Marsh, and Stalter.
Well, there's no chance they're scoring on us. Let's just be honest here. A couple of things, okay? Anthony Stalter, although he can't skate very well, I know that he's ready to sacrifice of himself.
No doubt.
In fact, he probably requests to go without gear and just eat pucks out there.
Right in the forehead.
And
you saw me smash my face into the wall.
For sure.
Yeah, what's a puck, right?
Exactly. Right. Yep.
And speaking of not giving a puck, Carey Davis here.
Not at all.
This guy is a Super Bowl champion. Talk about penalty kill. What? Ray Lewis is not on that power play right now. Carey Davis chewed up Ray Lewis and spit him out. That's my version of it. Anyway. So there's no doubt that Carey Davis has to compete in order to, again, eat pucks. And then, of course, Anthony, we know that he's running the clear it camp here.
Yeah.
And what do you do on the penalty kill? Clear it down the ice, 200-foot clears.
We'll be prepared.
I'm also confident in my abilities to help these guys along on that penalty kill. I'm sorry, Blues, you're going 0 for gopher against us.
Indeed.
Well done, Jimmy.
I mean, once you mentioned, it was up for no debate. There was no debate that you guys were getting the ding. But once you said the clear it came, it all but sealed the decision.
Well done. Yep.
All right. From the 314, Chiefs dynasty is over and Mahomes will not win another Super Bowl, especially in Kansas City. Prove me wrong.
Well, Patrick Mahomes is probably the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. And so, you have when you have one of the greatest quarterbacks to play the game, how would you not make it to another Super Bowl? How do you consider this not a dynasty? Did Andy Reid resign? Did Patrick Mahomes take a day off? Is Travis Kelce not present? Isaiah Pacheco is a star in the making. He's going to be spectacular. Rashee Rice, another star in the making. Have you seen the defense? Can I interest you in a Chris Jones who got his $1 million worth when he got his final sack of the season? This is a defense, Steve Spagnuolo getting these guys to play at an elite level, getting after the quarterback. Snead at corner. He's locking down whatever comes his way. These guys are good. They're okay. They're good to go.
Yeah, as long as Patrick Mahomes is on that team and they're in the same division as the Raiders, the Chargers, the Broncos, as Carey's been saying all day long, just win your division, baby, and you have a chance.
Nice job, Carey.
From the 314, prove me wrong. If Chicago trades Justin Fields, we will be starting. He says we. He must be a Chicago fan. We will be starting from square one again.
If you don't have a quarterback, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you don't have the O-line. It doesn't matter if you don't have the defense. It doesn't matter if you don't have the solid coaching staff. You're not starting over when it comes to losing Justin Fields. You'd be finding the correct quarterback that you need to run the franchise. It's not just about, hey, you got to have everything else in place. Then no, you got to have the quarterback.
Yeah.
You have to have the right quarterback. 100%. You could do this around the National Football League. You do it in college. If you don't have the guy, you don't have anything.
What are we doing?
If you don't have pitching, you don't have anything. If you don't have a goaltender, you don't have anything.
Yep.
If you don't have a superstar in the NBA, preferably two, good luck trying to win anything.
You got to have an ace. You got to have a guy.
Got to have a guy.
Yep.
Case closed.
Yeah. Yeah. People have been, giving you a lot of trouble today, Anthony. I feel like you needed that one.
The Gene Stallings thing? I'm not going to lose sleep over that. I'm sorry. I'm not putting Gene Stallings in the same breath as Bear Bryant and Nick Saban. I'm sorry.
How could you? Shame on
That's what led to only half of us being from St. Louis.
Exactly.
It was that comment.
It was none of us actually, Marshy, and then they realized two of us were from here.
Well, I don't count, though.
Well, one of us.
Why would that be the thing that put everybody over
Anthony,
that person over the hump?
Don't get fixated on it, okay? Don't do this to yourself. We've been over this before.
Because he coached
the Cardinals.
St. Louis Cardinals.
How don't you know that?
How'd he do?
Yeah, great.
Oh, wow. Now you're going that route?
Oh, what the hell?
This is what he does.
What's rule number one? What's rule number one in the fast lane?
Proves me wrong, no.
What's rule number one?
No one's safe.
Nobody's safe. Thank you, Carey.
Gene Stallings should be a little safe.
Won a national championship. Now you want me to put him in the same category as Nick Saban and Bear Bryant.
Did he win a championship?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Championship.
Only one. So easy to do that.
Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, he did.
He goes back to that one all the time.
Joe Flacco won a
You're
Super
not going to
Bowl.
bring up Joe Flacco anymore.
He won't win
He's
another
going to get a second one this year.
Get out of here.
Not happening.
All right.
I'm sorry that I hurt your feelings. I am. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Marsh.
From the
Did you feel that
217. It didn't really work, though. You kind of said it wrong.
He did.
That's what I went back to. I'm sorry.
You got your own way, man.
Oh, man.
I think the best part of it was, you guys all seem like nice guys. How you like us now?
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, from the 217, prove me wrong. The Steelers will upset the Bills because Josh Allen won't be able to handle the wind.
If I may.
Yeah, you should. Turn Carey's mic off or we're going to lose this case.
The The Steelers are starting Mason Rudolph, who has been fine over the last couple of weeks against, the backups of Baltimore and a Seattle team that is probably on their same level. And they had TJ Watt in both of those games.
Yep.
The Steelers don't really have much of a running game, despite having two backs that are capable-ish. Their offensive line isn't great. George Pickens, who knows if he's going to block for you. Deontay Johnson, I think he'll celebrate when the team is down 42 points. Then he'll get in the end zone. Then he'll celebrate. The defense has sporadic talent, but without TJ Watt, you've got nothing. You're going to Buffalo. They're fortunate to make the playoffs, but it's going to be a blank stomping on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just don't believe it.
You don't believe that the Buffalo Bills are gonna roll?
I mean, the Steelers have been playing good ball lately. They're accustomed to that weather. What has Josh Allen done in the playoffs?
Playoffs?
Conference championship one year.
You talking about playoffs? They went to the division.
They were 13 seconds.
Yeah, that's
13 seconds away.
They did go to They did go to the conference final or the AFC championship.
Was that the AFC
It was the year
champion?
before.
Yeah,
was it?
It was the COVID year.
Did they?
No.
I don't recall.
I want an apology, like formal on the air.
I'll give you one.
Yeah, you will.
I'll give you it.
Okay, fine. Not off the air.
But I don't think they went to it. They never went to a championship.
They played the Chiefs. They lost 38-24.
Why am I not remembering the Chiefs and Bills?
Oh, no. Yeah.
I'm looking at the box score right now.
I'm sorry, Jamie. What year was that? I'm not going to do it. I am sorry. I apologize.
2021.
It had to be the year
Tampa beat beat Kansas City in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I don't remember that game.
38
now the pool thing's starting to come into play and hit my head on the desk.
Blocking shots with your face.
Wow.
Yep.
I didn't.
Jamie, I'm sorry, man.
It's all right, Anthony.
That was my fault. I was wrong on that.
Yeah.
I forgot the greatness of Gene Stallings, and I forgot that AFC title game. I apologize.
Darn it.
I'll do better tomorrow. But Marsh, I mean, what? I apologize to you too.
Yeah, I accept your apology.
That you couldn't get that last ruling right, thinking the Steelers are gonna go into Buffalo and beat them.
I'm sorry. Is this your court?
Should be. After what I'm seeing today, it should be.
Wow.
I know we got these computers here, so don't jump over them.
Don't kill the judge.
That's how we need. He'd be wearing the face netting tomorrow. The spit guard.
Full helmet.
Oven mitts.
Oven mitts.
What? Can we talk? Hang on, we got a second. Let's talk about that guy for a second, okay? It's nothing to do.
He just had enough.
Hang on, it's nothing to do with sports. However, I feel like he may have been an athlete at some point.
He had to have been at some point.
That was a heck of a jump.
He cleared the
judge
whole
looked and she kind of was like, "Oh my God, he's coming!"
There's no way he's gonna make this.
He jumped and his bottom half didn't even hit the top of his desk. He was like full. He had the arms wrapped.
Like he was.
It's like he was jumping over the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, freaking pterodactyl.
It was pretty.
But what was his thought process at that point? So he was up for probation.
He wasn't getting out of jail.
But no, he was up for probation. So it was a probation hearing.
Yeah.
No kidding, she denied him.
Well, before that, that's what set him off. And then I heard all of the charges today. I'm like,
Carey,
oh, brother, you.
Carey, although this is not really a legal setting for us, we're not really lawyers, I do know this much. If they're talking about probation, you're close. You're close.
With no cigar.
Okay? You go fly and tackle
You
Teddy
are
Bruschi style.
away.
You jump over that line of scrimmage like Teddy Bruschi at the judge, probation is no longer in the conversation.
It's not on the table.
Then the next day he has to show up at court with the face mask, spit guard, oven mitts, soft boots on. Probation
and he
is
said,
gone.
"Yes, Your Honor."
Oh man!
I don't even know if he could speak.
All right, do you have one more? Or no? We can move on.
No, I got another one.
There we go.
Yeah, it's a Cardinals one. Should be a good one.
Right.
From the 314, prove me wrong. The DeWitt's card should spend $200 million and invest more in the international market.
Listen,
Gary's all over
we've said this all
Gary's
day.
wants to
Why
win a
do we
division.
need? We win the division. We are here to win the division. The Cubs can spend what they want. The Pirates can spend what they want. The Brewers can do what they don't even. Do they have a coach yet? I don't know. It doesn't matter. The Cardinals are going to win the division because they don't have to spend $200 million. The purpose of the DeWitts running this organization, yeah, we're going to win championships at some point, but we're here to make money. And we're going to make a lot of it in the process, okay? Now, you may not agree with that, but that's the rule that we live by, and that's how we're going to go about our business. Spending $200 million is not profitable for us and our family and what we're trying to do. We win the division. I got 3 pitchers for you all, and you all are still complaining. So here we are, 3 pitchers, 3 starting pitchers, as he said he would do. So what are we talking about? Win the division, win the World Series.
Just get in.
Just get in.
You never know.
T-shirts coming.
Just get in.
Just get in, ...
Package
on the back.
deal. Teach me how to snug you. ... You
never know.
Yeah, the shirts these days, it's going to look like one of the fans from the Cleveland Browns with all the different quarterbacks that they have on the back. Man, Carey, I get what you're saying. I really do. But you didn't mention anything about the international market and the Cardinals.
We don't need it.
Yes, they do.
They do.
Okay.
All right. We didn't fare too well today.
Darn it.
We started off great. Jamie got us flying high here, but we ended with a dud. How much does sticking with a coach impact culture in sports? We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN.
Fellas, listen up. As we get older, things change all the time. And sometimes it's just a matter of fact where you get a little more tired. Maybe you're not getting the results you want at the gym. Maybe at home you don't have the energy. At work you're always tired. Maybe you're lacking that performance in the bedroom, which that's not great, guys. Get over to Mentality. They can hook you up. They have so many great people over there. They're going to sit you down, going to ask you, kind of what's going on, what you'd like to achieve. And then, Anthony, they do the blood work. And then that's where the magic happens.
Well, Jamie, let's give a little background here. So you were doing 157 jobs a while back, and believe it or not, you were run down. You're run down. You're irritable. We all felt it here in the studio.
Yeah,
like, boy, this
that.
guy is just—he's not in a good place.
Yeah, my bad.
And then all of a sudden, things started to turn around. First slow, and then it picked up quickly. You're still doing 147 jobs. And now you got more energy than anybody. You're ready to go. You're living your life to your fullest. You feel great. You brought me down to Mentality. You sit down. You tell them, hey, look, I don't feel my best. I want to get back there. I don't really know how. I've been struggling here. I'm tired of struggling. I want to do something about it. Is it something physical going on? They'll take a look. And if it is, just like it was for you and I, they've got a program that's going to help you out. But you got to go down there first. Because if you don't, nobody can help you. And they're just going to be struggling. What's the point?
And it's a program that's unique to you. It's not just a one-stop for everybody else. No, you get your own program, and you feel amazing about it afterwards. So please get over to either location. They got one in South County, one in Chesterfield. When you get in there, tell them that Anthony and Jamie sent you in. They're going to take great care of you. I promise that. And if you can't get there in person, at least check out what we're talking about online. Visit Mentality at lowtusa.com. That's lowtusa.com.
You're in the fast lane. Broadcasting live from the Car Shield studio on 101 ESPN.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. So Eric Spoelstra was given a large contract extension by the Miami Heat earlier today. I believe it was an 8-year contract. We talk a lot about culture, and we talk a lot about sustainability in sports. You guys have played for different head coaches throughout your courses of your careers, whether it's in college or juniors, and obviously in the professional sports you guys played. Is it just media speak when we talk about culture, or when you're actually in a place, do you feel it? Like when you were in Detroit,
yeah,
I can't imagine you walked in there your first time and didn't feel what a winning culture was like.
No, you know it right away. You know it right away by the people they have in place in leadership group, and then you know it right away by the way the players conduct business. Like, I knew right away, like, being a Detroit Red Wing was different. It was different. Like, you had a certain standard that you had to adhere to. And there's a certain level of class, a certain level of dedication to the community. There's a certain level of, like, doing events. And, you're there, man. And I don't know. CD, I know that Pittsburgh, I don't know if you find a better team in the NFL when you talk about culture. Mm-hmm. From Chuck Knowles, what he had way back when, and fast forward all the way through now to Mike Tomlin.
Bill Cowher, too. Don't leave out any coaches. Not today, Jamie. Not today.
Right. Bill Cowher, for sure. Obviously, you can't forget him. But I don't know. There's just something you feel when you walk in there, and then as you're there, game after game, after day after day, after practice, you've realized that there is a standard here.
Yeah.
And you realize that, like, you have a responsibility to the franchise. As part of the small little slice of the pie, you have a big responsibility.
I think that you hit the nail on the head. And one thing about Pittsburgh that makes it such a great organization and a culture is, when Dan Rooney, before he passed on, he was like the best owner in the world. Open door policy truly meant open door policy. He had an office at the facility. If you're walking by, hey, come on in. What you doing? What's going on? How you doing? How are things going with you? Yeah, football. How's life? Like, what do you got? What's going on in life? Are you okay? And that filters down throughout the entire organization. When you're walking, coming into the facility and Mean Joe Green is there, or Franco Harris, Rocky Blyer, like all of these, Mel Blount was there all the time. Like, when you see former players and the historic players, Hall of Fame players that are still around the facility, that are around the organization, it just gives you an understanding of what that culture is. These guys paved the way. There's no way in hell I'm going to not take care of my business and Mean Joe Green is standing right there, or not do it in a Steeler way, because that's the expectation. And it transfers from coach to coach, but it starts at the top. Every organization that is a great organization or a terrible organization, it all starts at the top and filters its way down. And so in Pittsburgh, it was just that way. Every single person, not every, 40 people of the 53 men on the roster, 40, 45 people, when I got there my first day, hey, how you doing? I'm Ben Roethlisberger, nice to meet you. I'm Hines Ward, nice to meet you. Hey, I'm Troy Polamalu, nice to meet you. I'm like, the hell is this? I went to other teams and didn't talk to guys for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And so it's just a difference in how they go about their business, which makes those organizations really good.
Yeah, and I'll say this. So here in St. Louis has the rich history, too, of a franchise. And the culture here, for the most part, has been very, very good. I think that the franchise lost its way a little bit through some ownership stuff that happened in the early 2000s. But I will say that Tom Stillman and the current ownership group have done a great job of reeling it back in. And the players, too. So I got to give credit to guys like Alex Pietrangelo, David Backus, Alex Steen. That was the next wave following, I don't want to say tumultuous, following some down years where the franchise wasn't very successful on the ice. You still had some quality guys. You had Big Walt, you had Dougie Waite, you had some like Dallas Drake, guys that were really good guys. And they kind of paved the way for this next group. And I think the next group really brought the culture here to a different level. The Backus, Pietrangelo, Steen, that era of player respected, the guys who were there before. And that's the one thing, like when they won the Stanley Cup, like, this, Anthony, they included the alumni guys on everything.
Yeah.
And we were in the parade, we were down by, at the parties, at the cup ceremonies, all the stuff that was going on. And, of course, a lot of that was a lot of respect for one of the original guys, Bobby Plager. Talk about a culture. Bobby Plager was the culture of the St. Louis Blues. So, although the Blues haven't had the success with championships like the Red Wings have or like the Steelers have, I can tell you this from playing in places that were really not good to play in, that the culture here in St. Louis is good. And I do think, too, the fan base has something to do with this, CD.
Yeah.
Here in St. Louis, great fans, passionate, baseball or hockey, they got you, man. They got your back. In Detroit, I felt the same way as a Red Wing. And other places, And I'm sure in Pittsburgh, like you're walking around the streets of Pittsburgh, they know you're a Pittsburgh Steeler. They're like, they got you.
No question. I got pulled over one time. The officer just said, "Hey, have a good day, Mr. Davis. Just wanted to see who was in the car." Like, what the
That happened to me last year. I was driving home after one of the late games, and I was tired as you-know-what. And I had that thing pinned about, 90 plus. And all of a sudden, I see these flashers in my rearview mirror. I'm like, I'm busted. Like, they're walking up, and I'm like holding my license out the window. Like, hey, here you go. And the guy pulls up, he goes, "Holy blank, Rivers, slow down." And I was like, "Well," he's like, "Seriously?" He's like, "I know you had a long day, but come on, man." I was like, "You got it, sir. Thank you." 35 the rest of the way.
Yeah, buddy.
This reminded me, I was coming down 270 one time, and I was speeding and got pulled over, and a cop comes out and he goes, "All right, give me your license and registration." Went back, and then he came back. He goes, "Here's your ticket." So. Slow down. Here's your ticket. That take you a second?
Yes. I was like, "Oh, he got let off." Dude, no, he didn't. Oh my gosh.
License written.
Woof.
I'll be right back.
Man.
Came back. There's your ticket. All right,
man.
it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Have a good day. Yeah, slow down. Bet the board. Boy, I got some work to do. Criticisms and compliments next on 101 ESPN.
Happy New Year from Johnny Londoff Chevrolet. Johnny Londoff Chevrolet are kicking off the new year with a big rollout sales event. Check out some of these savings. You can get up to $4,500 off select 2024 Chevy Equinoxes. How about $6,000 off select 2024 Chevy Blazers? And this is the big one. $10,000 off select 2024 Chevy Silverados. Just an incredible amount of savings for some great vehicles. Landau Chevrolet also has a possibility of offering you interest rates as low as 1.9% for qualified buyers. You can't forget the team Landau's goal is not just to sell your car, but to make you a Landau Chevrolet customer for life. They want you to be part of the Landau family like I am. Over 25 years, I've known Johnny Landau and the Landau family and been purchasing vehicles the entire time from Landau Chevrolet, and you can too. Get out to one of their 2 locations, the original one in Florissant, Missouri, the second one in St. Peters. Both locations have great brand new inventory as well as pre-owned inventory. Walk in, tell them Jamie Rivers sent you. If you can't get there in person, get there online. Visit them at Londoff.com or LondoffAutoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Johnny Landau Chevrolet.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues lost last night by a final score of 5-1 to the Florida Panthers. They'll be back in action tomorrow, taking on the New York Rangers. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7, and you can catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. If you missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Go to the podcast page, and you'll find all of our interviews and full shows. One of those interviews will be Jeremy Rutherford, who we talked to earlier today. So go to the website or use the free 101 mobile app. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center Update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. If you missed anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 ESPN mobile app. All brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Talked about the Blues losing last night to the Panthers. Of course, broke down the power play. Talked about Nick Saban. The breaking news today that he is retiring. So no more Nick Saban at Alabama. So we went over some of the possibilities for Alabama now moving forward. Did a little NFL, little Cardinals. Although Carey kept talking about just winning the division and just carrying the water for the Cardinals again. So it's only so much we could do. So on the Cardinals front. Yeah. All right. Time to bet the board.
Bet the board. 4 picks for your friends. It's time to bet the board with the Fast Lane.
Well, Carey and Jamie are off to great starts. They're 2-0. Jamie had the Canucks last night, who blew out the Islanders, and Carey, trolling all Mizzou fans, took Kentucky last night and laid 11.5, and they won and covered.
Yeah.
Marsh suffered a letdown last night, man. Tough one. You had Houston outright, and they lost on basically a buzzer beater. I know they had a shot at the end
sucked.
there. Yeah, against Iowa State, so he's 1-1, and I'm 0 for deuce. I decided to do the double dip, where if I took the Islanders and I won, Jamie would lose, and I'd be 1-1. That didn't line.
You took the Islanders?
Yeah.
He did. Now I don't feel bad at all. You donkey.
Well, the Canucks were playing back-to-back. The Islanders had been off since Saturday. Figured they were well-rested to get their ass kicked, and they did. All right, Jamie, go ahead.
You did that. That was horrible.
It's a strategy. That backfired.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
Glad it did.
I moved on.
That'd be a lesson.
Now you can move on.
Don't tell me what to do, first of all. Do whatever the hell I want.
Go for it, Jamie. Actually, Carey, you go first.
No, I'm going to go now.
You go ahead, Jamie.
Thank you, Carey. We'll let him do that. All right, tonight we have a matchup in the NHL. It's going to be a heck of a game. Got the Golden Knights visiting the Colorado Avalanche. I got the Golden Knights in this one. The Avalanche have been struggling defensively a little bit. I don't think the Avalanche match up well against the Golden Knights. I think Golden Knights have this. They're plus 114 in this one. So Vegas Golden Knights, please.
Got the underdog. Carey.
All right, so I was kind of going back and forth here. I was thinking about going Warriors, Pelicans, over, under. I don't really like it. Makes me nervous. So I'm going to go Tennessee Vols, taking on number 5 Tennessee Vols, taking on Mississippi State at Mississippi State. They are laying 2.5. I'm going to take the Tennessee Volunteers.
All right. Marsh.
Yeah, I'm looking at the NHL tonight. Actually, this game starts here in about 20 minutes. Montreal Canadiens, Philadelphia Flyers. Ooh. Samuel Ersson getting the start for the Flyers. I have him with over 24.5 saves, minus 102.
Same game. I'm going to take the Canadiens over 2.5 goals at minus 126. The Canadiens have gone over their team total in 8 of their last 10 games. So give me the Canadiens to score at least 3 goals tonight in that same matchup that Marsh mentioned. So there you have it. There's our place for tonight. All right, Marsh, what do you got for criticisms and compliments?
Yeah, from the 618, they think that you have fantastic rhythm. Oh, I'm sorry. No, they don't. That is, let's just skip past that. For the 314, bet the board is great.
What was that? We are doing criticisms too, so.
I'm looking at, I just quickly looked at the 618, and sometimes people will like leave their name, and this one is
Rhythm Maker?
Rhythm Maker. I thought it just, I looked at it quickly. I thought it said Anthony has good rhythm. I don't know.
We knew that would have been a criticism.
From the 636, my criticism is for the Riz Show for all being a bunch of whiny babies every time they lose. It's a different B word, but I used babies.
Well said. Absolutely. I didn't listen. I didn't hear today.
I don't know.
I don't know if they reacted to what we said.
They're on every day?
Who knows? Actually, they come to work pretty consistently. Yeah.
Well, Riz makes them.
They're hardworking peeps.
Yeah, they are.
The 314 says the bet the board intro is awful.
Okay.
We'll have to fix it then.
Sorry, Mike Ryder, you're fired. From the bet the board. Can't handle the station.
Clarify.
Yeah.
Station would crumble without him.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that.
Also, we're sorry. Feel that way.
Yeah. All right. So the Rhythm Maker from the Snake Pit, Anthony, the ticket story was hilarious
and true.
It was perfect.
It's 100% true.
I mean, you laid it out perfect.
Thank you. My favorite part was Jamie. Took a second.
The hamster was slightly tired and started to nod off. And then you guys left, woke him up, and he figured out what it was. And everything came together.
Jamie was a full beat there, but he got it.
Yeah, I got you.
All right, you guys ready for today's 3 stars of the day?
Yes.
Let's go.
Here we
Get
go.
to it. Our 3rd star of the day, Carey Davis. Just get in, baby.
Just get in. Just get
Anything
in.
can happen.
Anything can happen.
It's true.
All right. Our second star of the day with a great Gauntlet performance, Jamie Rivers.
Yes, Jamie got all the questions right in the old Gauntlet. Unfortunately, it came at the expense of the Snake Pits
droid.
Devin/droid.
Yeah.
We still love you.
But
Anthony, this lines up good for you.
Yeah, buddy.
here we go.
That was a great joke you did.
And our number one star of the day, Wednesday, January 10th, in the fast lane, Gene Stallings. National championship, Gene Stallings. Can't forget about. Hard to forget about.
Yep.
When you talk about Bear Bryant and Nick
Some people
Saban,
do forget, though.
you got to make sure you bring up Gene Stallings,
You better.
national champion
Shame.
in the 90s. Absolutely. Yes.
Those are 3 stars of the day in the fast.
I
Nice.
thought you had it, man.
Man, you're so close.
I forgot
But
Gene
then the Gene
Stallings.
Stallings thing, that sends you back.
Brought you back.
Well, actually, Anthony's rant got 3rd star of the day yesterday.
Yeah, so not
His
me
rant, not
specifically.
him.
It's just
The rant did.
The rant got
What
in.
was your rant?
I did a rant on the Cardinals spending and how some fans have hurt feelings over it. They take it personal.
Yeah.
Hey, man. I told you my theory and the Cardinals theory.
All day. Anytime we talk about the Cardinals today, you brought up their theory.
Win the division.
That was kind of his theme for the day.
It was.
Every sport. Just
Every
win the
sport.
division.
Yeah.
Win the division.
You're right, because we talked about something else. And,
football.
Oh, it was the football, the head coaching thing.
He wants to coach in Carolina instead of all those other good franchises.
Because all you have to do is win the division.
division.
It's a bad division.
It's a terrible division.
Just get in.
You don't have the T-shirt yet.
No, but we're working on the layout.
Working on it. We got to get it together.
Like you Superman.
Just get in.
Just
right
get
here.
in.
Yeah.
And then on the back of the Nick, you never know.
We got a last-second criticism, not for any of us, but for John Mozeliak.
Oh.
The 314 says, my criticism is with Mo. Can he not sound like Ben Stein?
Oh, yeah.
And put out some emotion in his press conferences.
It's not him.
That's him.
Jamie and I at one point did our version of John Mozeliak, complete with tattoos. I mean, full back tattoos.
Okay.
Nipple piercings.
Nipple piercings.
Then there was another version.
Telling Cardinals fans to blank off.
Yeah.
How do you
Driving down
How do you
the
like me
street.
now? Go blank yourself.
There's been a few different versions of Mo. We had him, having some fun with adult beverages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
absolutely. Yeah. All right, we've got the Instant Replay show coming up next. We'll be back tomorrow from 2 to 6. Don't forget, tomorrow we got the Blues and Rangers pregame starting at 6 o'clock right here on 101 ESPN. So Jamie will be with us from 2 to 4 tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
For Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, I'm Anthony Stalter. Appreciate everybody listening tonight. See you.